Are we live? Like,
Episode 6.
really? Are we actually live right now?
This is live.
Can the stream hear me?
There are people. Ready.
Let's see. I can't see the stream because I turned it off just like you asked me to, but I can see myself now. Okay, so this is weird. This is the first time I haven't had someone in that seat, but welcome, guys, to Ask Aviator episode number 6. We are going to have some guests rotating through tonight as things go on, but like many of you who are watching this from the air, it's still currently flyable time, and we do it at this time so I can actually get home in time to see my children before they go to sleep. But I actually got here about 6 minutes late because I just soloed a student, which is awesome. Young man from South Africa who's here, lives in New Jersey. His name is Jonathan. I think he's going to join me in that share a little bit later. But before that, we're going to talk to you guys about a lot of your questions, answer some questions for you folks. I'll probably bring in John or Nina or AJ. They're all here in the room with me right now. We're going to talk about Paramotors, answer your questions, have a lot of fun. It's gorgeous out right now, and I got John.
I'm back.
What's up, John?
What's up?
This is actually kind of nice. I've been trying to get you to be on a live stream with me.
Yeah.
But you don't like doing that.
No, I'm cool with it. Kate and I warm the people up. I don't know if you noticed.
Who's this?
That's Brady. That's my greyhound right there. I don't know if she's in the frame.
I think she must be.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
righteous.
That's Brady. She is a champion. She raced 111 races in Tijuana, and she won 12, which is a really good ratio.
Is that a pretty good ratio?
Very good.
I feel like if that was a ratio for humans racing, they'd probably be pretty bad. They probably can't see this one.
No, you can't see the small one. Hey. She'll drink your beer, though.
Can you say hi? You mean my Aviator Brewing Company beer that I really want Aviator Brewing Company to sponsor Aviator Paramotor so we can have Aviator Brewing Company beer at Aviator Paramotor? How many more times can we say Aviator?
Johnson Q, what up?
What up? Let's do that. All right. So first off, hey to Jonathan Doe, Brian Pearson, Line of Sight, Resurgence, Todd Scandrett in the house. Always good to see you. Guys, it's a wonderful thing to have all of you here, and we are so thankful to be able to share with you guys every week. As you guys can, please feel free to punch your questions in the chat box. We can read both your Facebook and your YouTube questions, and we are here to answer them. So Jonathan Doe says, Eric, first we need to recognize the guy that was there earlier, your marketing director. His professionalism is outstanding. I feel pretty good about this.
Thank you, Jonathan Doe.
So we have had a few people on this podcast that we've kind of been able to introduce. People have met Kat. People have met Chris. They have got, of course, know Ross. There's lots of different people who have been in that hot seat. And what people don't realize, like when we had the Travis on here after he left, and they need to understand, like everyone out there, you guys need to understand that the caliber of people that come through Aviator to help support us is... Aviator's way more than me. It is really about the team and about the people we have. Guys like John, who left retirement, left a much higher paying job for the passion of sharing this sport. And you got to fly for the first time about a month and a half ago.
Yeah, a little before my 31st birthday.
And how was it?
We sort of got into this. Some of you were already here for this, so sorry for the repeat. But so first of all, the first flight was the first thought was, wow, this was easy, and then there was no, and then it was blank. Like literally, it wasn't exhilarating, it wasn't scary, it was blank because I was a robot. I was listening to my instructor, doing the things I was told as soon as I was told, and then once I landed and actually was driving home, I got freaking pumped.
I was wondering if it's ever going to happen. I was like, is he a sociopath? Like,
yeah, I was so pumped. I couldn't shut up about how I can fly now. I would say to people, and you know I can fly now, right?
Oh, yeah. Like every single conversation to the point of being almost painful. And you were actually there with us. My friend Sarah Nisler recently soloed a Piper Cub for the first time. She works at EAA in marketing, and she's an awesome young lady.
Yeah.
Single, gentleman. She's a pilot. She soloed, and she was kind of like, oh, hey, Eric, I soloed. So we see her at Sun and Fun, and every, 40 seconds when there's a lull in the conversation with, 20 people, I'm like, hey, guys, did you hear? Sarah soloed. And that's how John was.
Yeah.
Except about himself.
About myself, yeah. It's not a small deal. When somebody solo flies anything, it's not small. I mean, that's a huge, huge deal.
No, it's a massive deal. And one of the things that worked against you is that quite frankly, and I'm going to make your head bigger, and it barely fits in our helmets now. I wish we could put a picture. There's a really nice picture where he's wearing this yellow helmet, and he looks like an eraser, and it's beautiful. But you really took to this naturally. Like, you took to this more naturally than I'd say 98 to 99% of pilots do.
Yeah, just like most of us, I was inspired by Tucker Gott and you, actually.
Weird.
At my job interview, I don't know if you remember, but I told you that meeting you was like meeting my version of Kim Kardashian, and it really was.
I think my response was, I don't have the booty.
I had spent 47 hours watching your YouTube videos, and I think doing that sort of just gets the neural pathways gelling in advance, so that when it actually comes time to kiting a wing, and doing all that, it's sort of just, you're ready.
How many times did you watch the kiting how-to video?
3 times, and it's 3 hours. That's
it's a
9
really
hours
long
right
video.
there. Yeah,
that was an investment.
And I didn't have a wing at the time, but if I did, I would have been flying on day 1 or 2 with or without permission. It would have been. I would have been so ready.
He doesn't follow instruction well. He was a robot when he flies. He does a really good
Once I'm
job.
in the air, robot.
Boom.
But yeah, that's actually kind of funny. We had a student, AJ, and he'll actually be here.
Yeah. He's in the room. We can talk about him like he's not here, though. It's better that way.
All I see are lights.
It is kind of bright. And this is nice. They're soft tonight.
AJ's an example of a student who, not only was he watching the video like I was, he had the wing.
Yes.
So he already had a big leg up on me and everybody.
Day
else.
one of kiting, he's
Right.
out there laying on his back, putting his feet in the line. He's cheating. He's making it look too easy.
Right.
Okay, so really quick to answer a few questions. First off, I'm not sure how to say your name. Sasher JJ. He's in Prague. Amazing city.
Whoa.
I have spent some incredible time in Czech Republic. I love it there, and actually, it's still in my top 3 favorite places I've ever flown ever in my life. Wow. And it's inspirational because one of the things that we've been talking about lately that John brought up, he's like, I have this great idea, and I was like, I've already done it. He's like, what do you mean you've already done it? So when we were in Czech Republic, we would take off from the factory, and we'd fly for 2 or 3 hours and land somewhere for brunch. Then a van would pick us up and drive us back. We'd sleep in the van. And then we'd fly to a winery, and we'd drink wine, eat food, and then sleep overnight, and then fly home or get driven back, depending on how hungover you were.
This is my dream.
I wasn't hungover. I was probably still drunk. I didn't know it at the time. I didn't feel sick until 3 hours later as I'm still flying back into a headwind, and I was like, oh, I did have some wine last night.
Now, my understanding is that there are no rules at all in Prague. Is that correct?
No, actually, it's really interesting. So there's a lot of talk, and this will actually be a great topic for a podcast in the future. There's a lot of talk because FAR 103 that we're governed by here. First off, again, Sasha, awesome. Thanks for being here all the way from Prague. You rock. I can't wait to come back and fly with you. Is very limited. We have a lot of freedom, but we also have some really specific restrictions. So in Czech Republic, in order to become a paramotor pilot, you actually have to go through a proper trainer.
Right.
You have written tests, flying tests. You have to be under advisement by the instructor.
Whoa.
Your gear, just like my airplane, right? So with my airplane, every year it has to go through an annual inspection.
Right.
If it was being used for commercial use, it had to go through a 100-hour inspection. And it's the same thing with paramotors in Czech Republic. But what's interesting with it is it gives them a lot more liberty. Now I understand that it's a question of liberty or not. So we can't fly over open air assemblies of people. We can't fly over cities. We can't fly over any congested area. They can.
Whoa.
They stay 300 meters above, and you could fly through downtown Prague as long as it's not in restricted airspace.
Well, 300 meters is pretty high.
It's 1,000 feet.
Yeah.
Maybe 500 feet. But either way, it was we're flying around these churches and stuff and castles and stuff you could never do in the States, and it was so epic. And the sport is so huge there. We did a 3-hour cross country one night, and we stopped at this field and we landed, and there's 20 pilots there. And then we fly to the next field, and 2 or 3 other pilots take off out of their backyards. By the time we ended up where we were going, which is this winery, there's probably 30 pilots in the air. There's tons of pilots everywhere, and they're all flying from their own local home sites. And it's so big because it's a little more regulated. They have their certification, so they can finance. They can, it's a really. I loved it.
That's really great. So, as far as the regulation, would you be okay with that being the case here? So, is that something that would be well taken by the Americans? If let's say we had to do annual inspections and we had to do 100-hour inspections, whatever, and then it was just wide open as far as where we could and could not fly.
I think that the old dogs, the people who've been in the sport forever, would revolt.
Isn't that you?
No, I've only been in the sport 7 years. I'm a baby. But the guys who've been flying for 20 years, like Tall Mike.
Mike
right?
Brown, yeah.
Like so, Tall Mike or Mike Brown, one of our
Right.
intern instructors, who's an amazing guy. He's been flying forever.
Yeah,
Tyson,
right.
who's
He is an old guy.
coming down. Tyson Russell's from Washington. He's
Right.
coming down on the 22nd. He's been flying for 23 years. A lot of those guys would revolt because they don't want any additional regulations, and I totally respect that. And I don't know what the right answer
Sure.
is. It's
Okay.
like politics. Like,
Right.
is there a right answer? I don't know.
There's going to be a side to anything.
I would love it because I have a mechanic on staff who can make sure all my stuff's maintained.
Right. Yeah,
and then if
that's
I can
true.
go fly, like, for me, I'm flying to Tampa tomorrow morning. I have to be there at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'd love to fly my airplane to Davis Island Airport, and then hop in my paramotor and fly to downtown Tampa and land in the park, and then just go on the elevator with my paramotor to my meeting. That would be hilarious, right? It would be really
that
cool.
Would be sweet.
So, Kylo Glee, welcome to your first ever Ask Aviator stream.
That's not the real Kyle Oakley.
It's not the real Kylo Glee? Are you sure?
If it's the real Kyle Oakley, comment yes it is, and then we'll know for sure. But I think he's busy.
Kyle, we'd love to have you down here for a show. We are way overdue meeting. I'm going to meet you at Endless Foot Drag. Finally, super stoked. Mike Crawfish. Everyone calls me Eric
Crossick.
Stairwell,
I think
so
it's Crossick.
or Harry Stairwell. Mike, 61, 340 pounds, smoker, former Marine, Semper Fi, sir. Inspired to diet, quit smoking, get in shape over the next year so I can run into the sky. Okay, so
How tall are you?
6'1". No, he's 61.
He's 61.
How
How
tall are
Mike?
you? So this has been a huge discussion this week, and I want to tell a couple of stories about it. But it's been a huge discussion this week about height versus weight matrix, just purely from a safety standpoint. Because if John was 5'6" and 340, and he calls us and says, "Hey, I want to come train," obviously no one can ever discriminate. But for safety, we have to be like, listen, like, you're not going to fit in the harness,
Right.
and if you run and you fall and you're carrying that much weight on your
Right.
knees, you might get hurt.
And it's not a measurement of total weight, right?
Right.
It's not because I was 318 pounds. If I was 6'9",
Right.
and 318, that might be
So
a little
we
better.
had this happen. We had a
Right.
guy who's 6'8",
Right.
380 pounds,
That's
trained
a
with us
big
last
dude.
fall.
Right.
Dude crushed it.
He's 6'8".
He's 6'8", and he's very physically active. That's another big thing. If you are a sedentary person who, like me, I work at a desk except when I'm flying or teaching, right? So if you don't exercise, you don't work out, you're going to have a lot more trouble
Right.
just because your joints aren't used to it. I had this discussion last night with our school manager, Chris. They were recommending knee surgery to him. And they're like, you got to do this knee surgery. You
Whoa.
need to have all this stuff done. And since he started working here, well, actually, since he started interning here, he said that all the pain's gone because
Whoa.
he's running. He's
Right.
running backwards, having students chase him.
Not sitting at a desk.
He's not sitting at a desk
right?
anymore, and he's not doing things that are keeping his joints from moving. So, at 6'2", 340, it's totally a doable thing. Eventually, let me ask John to please tell your story about how you got started.
Yeah, Mike, I'm 6'2", and I was 318 when I found Tucker Gott's video, the video of him flying to McDonald's, and I was immediately inspired. This is September of last year. And at 6'2", 318 is pretty obese. And
Is it to the morbidly point yet?
Oh, it's morbid.
Is it? We've been discussing the different categorizations because I'm feeling a little chubby, and he hates me for it.
Oh, man. I was morbidly obese. I was 318 pounds, and I had just a typical fat guy back injury, and I was laid up in bed for 3 weeks just feeling absolutely pathetic. And I found Tucker Gott's video flying to McDonald's, and I decided that Paramotors for me. I was trying to enjoy a retired life. I retired at 28, and
Lucky.
and it was supposed to be all fun and games, but it wasn't fun. I was hurt, and I was not doing anything. I was sitting on the couch watching TV when I wasn't hurt.
And how boring is that? And suddenly your soul starts to die.
Right.
You feel like you aren't living for anything.
I
You
wasn't
feel like,
serving myself.
right. Or anyone else, which is a
Or
big part of
when you don't
yeah.
serve yourself, you can't serve anyone else, right?
Right.
Oh, our guard dog.
We have a guard dog.
Our guard dog just
and we
went
have
off.
some people that are joining us, guys. I'm going to pull up some chairs. AJ, if you'll grab some chairs for us, we'll bring some more people into this. But continue your story. What did you do?
So, I told the wife I was gonna fly these crazy things, and she was totally supportive, like most wives are.
Yes, she said, spend all the money you can possibly spend on it, and whatever you do, why don't we just move there and work for them?
Right. So I started losing weight back in October is when I started. It took me about 6 months to lose about 68 pounds, got down to 250. And 6'2", 250 is still fat, but very manageable.
Yes.
And now that I'm down to 250, I'm squeezed into a Parajet Maverick. I will say
it's the better frame for you would be the Flight product because you have a little extra room.
I'm lodged in there, but the physical aspect for me is not an issue now that I've lost that weight. So if I don't know if you put your height in there yet.
6'2".
6'2", you're 340. Yeah, I mean,
You can do it.
It might take you longer than 6 months. I did it the extreme way, but jump in and start losing some weight and let this be your goal.
We've seen that a lot lately.
Right,
People
this is
going to
hold you down better than anything you can imagine.
There's actually another guy in the chat right now who's one of my favorite people. His name is Eloy Garcia, and he's one of our past students. He has always been like one of the most gracious, kind students we've ever had. Eloy, I can't remember how much you lost. If you put in the chat and remind me, I think it was close to 100 pounds. Same thing, full keto, went for, and for the sole purpose of learning to fly.
Right.
And he's super good dude. He's not able to fly right. He had knee surgery, but I can guarantee, Eloy, that your knees feel better for the weight loss too. So, and once you're flying, your soul feels amazing. Exactly, and it helps everything. I got to fly this morning, and it was funny because like I've been in crazy pain. I talked about it in the last live stream. I've been visiting different neurosurgeons and trying to think about things for my back, and as soon as I flew, it was like, okay, I feel good. I think 2 hours later I hurt again, but it was 2 blissful hours, you know. All right, let's see if there's anything else we have to talk about. David Nichols flew at 5'10", 280. David, good to see you, brother.
Dave.
All right, there's lots of comments coming in, guys. We have lots of different questions, and I have text messages coming through from Nina behind the desk. I will get to these right now, and then we'll bring in our special guest. Before we do, Ron, are you guys still training?
No, we shut it down.
We shut it down. Okay, it got windy? It got windy.
I think I'm going to sign off and get behind the camera.
Okay, that's fine. I'll
Thanks
answer
for
some
the
questions.
questions, guys.
Thank you so much for being here. John, always, and for bringing your dogs. Yeah. Bailey Goin, thank you for being here as well. AJ's wife's here. Awesome. All right, Sandor, good to see you, sir. Tony Marzano, pleasure indeed. Johnson Q, dude, we've got to talk. I have got to get you on board full time. I'm dying. Jonathan, there was another Jonathan Culp to you, sir. We do currently have a off-site job available. We're hiring a bookkeeper. If you happen to have experience in split entity corporations, QuickBooks, and Shopify, please apply. We'd love to hire you. And in 23 months, let's talk more. Emilio, yes, we do have financing options available. We actually have in-house financing here at Aviator. It's the first of its kind in the industry, and it's very easy to apply for. If you have A or B credit, which is basically anything over a 640, I think, decent income, they're going to approve you, and they're going to take really good care of you. It's 0% APR for the first 6 months on one of the plans, which is pretty cool. So, all right, let me answer some questions. This is from Alex Diaz. Alex, we can't wait to have you. He says, I'm going to Aviator in July. I own a Roadster 2. Should I take it with me? What about any other equipment? I arranged to be in the area for 14 days. If the training ends sooner, I can arrange to get some flights. Weather in Puerto Rico and Florida is not the same. Yes, we have mountains. How will your training prepare me for difference in weather and environment? See you in 84 days. First off, love the gumption. Can't wait to see you in 83 days now, since you sent this yesterday, I think. It's going to be great to have you for sure. We have a lot of different things to talk about. So one, Roadster 2, definitely bring it. The Roadster 2 is a little bit outdated now. It's about 3-4-year-old technology. It's what the Spider is based off of. But it's still an awesome wing, and if you're going to be flying it at home, we want you to get your first transition flights into flying it here so you can have some confidence as you grow. That's totally well worth your time, and do that. So, secondarily, how will Aviator help you with transition to flying in Puerto Rico where there's mountains? Well, I'm going to ask AJ. AJ, you were in the last class.
Yep.
Have you done weather class yet, Jonathan?
I have.
Okay, so guys, this is Jonathan Kaiser, AJ Goin, right?
Going.
Which way do you like it better?
I don't really
Jeff
care.
likes Goin.
Yeah, that's the way I like it as well.
What's going to be AJ Goin from now on then?
Kaiser like laser.
Kaiser like laser.
Nice.
All right, so we'll talk more with these guys, but I want them to answer the question. Do you guys feel like you have any preparation for flying in mountains?
No.
No? Okay.
Yes, because we discussed turbulence and mechanical turbulence. So yes, but I'm not going to be flying in the mountains.
How's the audio, John? Can you hear him? Yeah. Okay. So the key is this. Every class is custom tailored to the class, right? So when we have a student from Denver, we're always going to talk about mountain turbulence, that kind of thing. Our recommendation is also going to be to hook up with someone that's local that can teach you the environment you're flying in. And we're going to introduce you, Alex, to some people from Puerto Rico, including one of our staff, Alex, who's Puerto Rican, and he can walk you through the whole thing. So answer to both questions is yes, we'll do everything we can for you. Bring your Roadster 2. We'll help you get transitioned after you finish your first Mojo flights. Boom. Question answered. Okay. So, guys, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to just move this. I can't move it. Move it so it's not blocking my face. I'll bring it down and just lean into it.
Yay.
Because I got to talk to you.
I want to talk.
Dude, you just soloed, man.
I know! like 30
up.
minutes ago.
Literally.
I flew.
You flew.
I've been dreaming about this for many, many years.
You've been attempting to do this for 13 years.
No. My wife and I moved here 20 years ago. About 15 years.
When you were 7?
No. See, babe. It's legal to do that in South Africa.
To get married at 7?
I'm only joking.
He's actually from Arkansas. Don't let his accent fool you.
So I would say about 13 to 15 years ago, I heard about an instructor, a powered paraglider instructor in Vermont, living in New York, got in my car, made the trip with my wife. And when I looked at this machine, it was unbelievably bulky and heavy. I picked it up, and it was an immediate disqualifier. You and I have spoken about this. I have a herniated L4, L5 disc.
I do too.
High five.
I have had back issues over the years. So as a frame of reference, guys, I'm 47 years old. I'm very careful with my back. I was convinced that I was going to be triking by the end of this training, but lo and behold, these flying machines, these paramotors, these wonders of modern science, have become so light. I'm a little astounded. I literally took my first flight. We started training on Saturday. What is today?
Tuesday, so 4 days ago.
Today's Tuesday.
Yeah.
We started 4 days ago, and I've just taken my first flight.
That's incredible.
I've flown.
I feel like the whole chat, 134 people should be clapping for you right now.
It is unbelievable. This is the closest thing to strapping a pair of wings on your own back. It's unbelievable.
It's sensational. He's still sweating, guys. I just want to point
Yeah,
out
yeah.
he's literally still sweating.
Yeah, I had no time to prepare. I literally walked off of the field. Sorry.
Well, so was I. I walked in, I pulled my hat off, and was like, "Oh, that's bad." Chris Capps asks, "Hi guys, I have some confusion about winch towing. There are industry leaders and safety organizations who advise against it, but some forms of towing are said to be safer than others. We used to not tow for the same reason. People said that it was not safe, it was dangerous, you could have this happen, you could have that happen. I went through USHPA towing clinic to get my safety rating from them to be able to tow, and I've done a lot of stuff to train other people on how to tow. And two things. One, I don't think you should go to any school, period, that doesn't offer towing. I think you guys would agree with that.
Can I get
Yeah, that's why I asked the question.
So what I love about what Aviator, Paramotor are doing is during your training, you are strategically introducing new concepts and new variables.
We basically taken it into blocks. So every block gives you complete mastery, and then you're not overwhelmed when you add the next block.
It's phenomenal.
Right.
I'll give you an example. I did a lot of kiting before I came here, practiced a lot, got here, was fairly comfortable with the kiting. As soon as you put that simulated throttle in my hand,
right,
my brain went dead, and I forgot how to kite. So now you introduce that one variable, you master that. So now you're concentrating on that. Then you took it to, okay, when you do a forward launch with the throttle in your hand, practice
posture,
power, pressure.
Right.
And that's what I did, and it happened today on my first flight.
On his first inflation, it took 4 starts on the motor because he didn't have any power, and he still got off the ground first freaking try. There's a lot of people in the chat that hate you right now, myself included. It was my 26th inflation that I got off the ground the first time, all right? So, I mean, dude.
Yeah, no, I am thrilled. Listen, it's a credit to the training.
You got some great instructors out there, some really good people.
Eric, it only started in Vermont. That was attempt number 1.
Tell us the rest of your story.
Okay,
I'll
yeah.
answer some more questions after, but let's go through. Give me a 3-minute, a 5-minute version of your story.
So that's 13 to 15 years ago. Vermont, massive machine, picked it up. I thought, there's no way I can do this. So some time goes by. Let's say 5 years. I find an amazing instructor in Long Island, in New York. Amazing paragliding instructor, extremely knowledgeable, really knows what he's doing.
Is it the French guy?
Yes.
Yes. What's his name again?
Philippe Renaudin.
Philippe Renaudin. He's a sup air importer. Really nice
Yes,
guy. Really
yes,
nice guy. I
Really
like Philippe.
nice. Knows what he's doing. I actually started with Philippe and then stopped. And then
Okay.
a couple of years later started and stopped. And the unfortunate thing is Philippe wants you to become a paragliding pilot before transitioning to paramotors.
And that's really normal for a lot of older school guys who've been paragliding for 30 years. They're going to want that mastery of glider control. They're going to want, and I don't disagree with it. I think it's a great tool. If we had a hill, every student that came through here, and I actually looked into how much it would cost to build a 60-foot by 2,000-foot hill. It's really expensive. But I think it's a fantastic transit. In Paracosta, they do the same thing. You learn how to fly off the bunny slope after you learn to kite.
Yeah.
You know, continue. Sorry.
Unfortunately, it requires a lot of time. You spend a lot of time sitting, waiting for the wind to blow in the right direction.
Right.
So I eventually gave up. Then I found an outfit in New Jersey, where I live.
You don't have to name them because I've already heard some stories.
No, I won't do that. But I very quickly realized I can very likely land up hurting myself.
Right.
It was very apparent. And so, listen, guys, in life, you get what you pay for. You pay peanuts, you get monkeys.
This is not supposed to be an ad for Aviator. You're supposed to be telling your
No,
story.
but it's in life you get what you pay for, and I believe that the training here is exceptional. In 4 days, I'm flying. I'm looking forward to my next few flights.
How many flights did you get?
One. I got
Oh,
one
you didn't fly
flight
again?
today.
Oh, I was
No,
hoping you were gonna fly again.
No.
Shucks.
The weather turned, but again, things are done properly. If the weather turns, you don't go flying.
Well, you guys kind of have an exceptional instructor-to-student ratio this
That's
week.
what-
You have
that-
7
I was gonna
instructors and
mention
6 students. It's
Yeah.
kind of ridiculous this week.
We literally had about 2 instructors per student. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, it's
absolutely phenomenal, and you're getting input from all of them. You're getting various perspectives and advice and tips. Absolutely phenomenal.
It's a really good thing, and I'm glad that you had a good experience. For us, especially for me, as the owner of this whole outfit, and relinquishing my control. And anybody who's a business owner can understand this, because I used to be the guy in the field every day. I did all the solo flights. Even when Travis joined me, it was a long time before he started helping solo people. I did all of it. And I recognized early on, I've had some great mentors that really encouraged me to help me see, like, you have to let go. You have to say it's good enough. And what we have now with Chris and with Fletch and Mike and Ron and AJ, we've got 3 intern instructors and 3 full instructors who are just crushing it. And I said this in the intro class on Saturday. Chris and Ron are better instructors than I ever was. I understand people. I'm really good at the psychology. Like I saw this morning when we towed. It was very clear exactly what you were doing wrong, exactly what I felt was going to shift you, and I can dial that in really quickly. That's my gift. But these guys are better educators. They're not ADD. They do a really, really great job. And so I'm so thankful to hear that the results have been amazing for you. You never even really got in your seat your first flight.
I never. I didn't. The flap.
It's that big booty.
See, babe.
See, babe. But what I love, though, is the entire flight. About 7 or 8 times it felt like in the flight, I hear this. It's kicking his feet. I'm like, are you having fun? He's like, yeah, I'm having fun. Oh, my God. Oh, gosh, it's amazing. I'm going to answer a few questions just to keep things rolling. Tim Current, what AMSOIL fuel mix are you running? It depends on the engine. Vitarazzi recommended that we switch to Motul 800, so we did. We've switched to Motul 800. We're currently running at 62 to 1, I believe. Generally 50 to 1 on our school motors because we're never quite sure if they're in break-in or not because we sell our school motors. We talked about this last podcast. Every motor and every wing we use in our school, we try to rotate monthly or every 3 months at most. So if you want to save a few $100 and have something that's actually in good condition, that's available to you. Somebody asked if the financing is available at Lone Star. Actually, the financing is available at all of our Alliance members. It's an exclusive thing for Alliance members. They can get you financing. All you have to do is email info at aviatorppg.com. Nina or Mary will help you. They'll help get all your information together. It'll be a quick phone call, and they'll let you know if you're approved or not. So that's no problem, and that's for any of the Alliance members. They'll be happy to help you. I'm going to get to that one in a second. I had one about reserve tosses from Jared Yates. Jared asked if about accidental reserve deployments not happening. Apparently that came up in the previous conversation. Accidental reserve deployments are actually why we don't use reserves on our student units when they're first flying. Now, on your first flights, as you did in the simulator, we want you to practice a simulated throw. We want you to think about what you would do if you have to throw your reserve. I've never thrown a reserve. I should have twice. Okay? So there's lots of interesting information there. In all of our experience, because we choose the weather so carefully, and we don't put people in the air until they're really, really ready. We've never had an issue with a student where they needed a reserve. But in talking to lots of instructors worldwide, we've heard about a lot of accidental deployments or students who hit their first little bump or wake from another paramotor, and they throw their reserve because they think they're dying because it's not glassy smooth, right? So accidental deployments are very, very real. Depends on your closure system. The Parajet and the Fly products use a long yellow pen, like a rod, I guess you'd call it.
A piece of weed eater string.
It's weed eater string, basically, yeah. And so that actually locks in really well. But it's more than that. You want to check to make sure that's locked, but you also want to test it. And this is a shout out to Robert Durbin, who last month, his Air Conception Reserve pouch he had packed, it was time for a repack. And so he did a test throw. And what he realized is there was not enough material
I saw that
underneath the bag, so he couldn't get his arm out. He basically got it here, and there was nothing to throw. So it's important to test. And I am not an expert. I'm not an SIV expert. I'm not a reserve throw expert. There's a lot of people better suited. I'm a P3 pilot with paragliders. I'm an instructor administrator. So I'm an expert paramotor pilot. I hate the term expert because I'm always learning. I do this morning. I dialed something really sick with my barrel rolls. I finally got the timing right for the splash that makes you go over this way, and it made me really happy. But I never feel like an expert. But talk to experts, find people who are way more knowledgeable, and test everything. Watch lots of videos. Pre-flight on your reserve. When I pre-flight my motor, because I know I have the mechanic staff here that takes care of my motor for me, which is fantastic. But my pre-flight consists of checking my airbox, checking my exhaust, checking my swing arms, and making sure my reserve pins are in. For my quick pre-flight, those are the most important, and belt tightness. Those are the most important things that I think is important. So
we just went through pre-flighting today.
Did you enjoy it?
Loved it.
Who taught it?
Chris.
Chris taught it. Good.
Chris, and did a fantastic job, and it makes sense, and it was thorough and methodical.
And not just pre-flight, but post-flight also. Especially if you're not flying frequently, having a post-flight that's really thorough. I tell everybody you should have pre-flights, post-flights, 25-hour inspection, or 5-hour, 25-hour, 50-hour, and you should have them written out. Like as an airplane pilot, I literally have checklists for everything, right? Yeah. And not just for when I'm flying, but when I land. Here's my post-flight checklist. All these switches get turned off, and I mentioned this because I forgot to turn my master off of my new airplane last week, and I had to get jump started, and that really sucked.
I think about like pre-flight and post-flight. My pre-flight is not as thorough as it probably is as soon as my post-flight.
Right.
Especially when I get home, I'll go through it very detailed to make sure everything's good. Because if that window of opportunity pops up with the weather, I want to be able to run and gun and just go over it really quickly. And so I also was talking about this in our pre-flight class today about I take remove before flight tags and I tie them to paracord and then run it through the entire motor through all the major key points. So like my switch, my fuel check valve, my reserve, all the main key points, and so that way when I get ready to leave, I'm not like the guy in the video where the prop covers go flying after he starts it. So.
I've only seen that happen about a dozen times. It's not funny at all, I promise. Just like turtles, not funny at all. All right, some other quick questions we want to go through. I'm going to scroll me up a little bit. Let's see, a little more. All right, so Class Q, we should make a post on distance between swing arm measurements. We will put that on our list. Nina's already got it. We're going to put that into the descriptions of each motor. One of the things we're still working on, guys, is we have a new website. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out, aviatorparamotor.com or aviatorppg.com. We're still working on it. There's so much to do. Jonathan and I have a really funny story about websites. So Jonathan, before he signed up for training, I think I got about 9 emails from you about broken links.
Yeah, for the air conception descriptions. Yeah.
And the problem,
yeah.
Vince White is his website in the UK, and Vince is an awesome guy, but he's working his website. We're working on our website, and we know we're shifting websites. And Jonathan's brilliant, and he's really passionate about links. Like
they're broken.
Like mind you, his call sign's Timex because he's never on time. But now everyone knows.
The one time he's on time, he forgot his shoes.
So he literally sends it like impassioned emails like, Eric, you don't understand.
It's broken.
It's broken. You have to fix it. And I was like, A, we're stopping selling air conception. B, our website's in the middle of being dumped. C, it's not even my website that I'm linking to. I don't know what the new link is. And D, I got 164 emails today, and I feel really rude not replying. But he still came to train with us, and he doesn't hate us yet.
I don't regret that.
Even though we're going to call you Timex for the rest of your life.
Oh, my Lord.
You are the 7th Timex.
Oh, good. I'm not alone.
Brian Pearson, have you guys done any smaller presentations like EAA Young Eagle programs, etc.? Hundreds of thousands of EAA chapters around the country. May 18th, I'm hoping to get some young kids excited about paramotors. To answer your question, yes, we have. Never done Young Eagles. We have done quite a bit of stuff with the Sun and Fun group. They have a summer camp that our team has gone out and performed for just the summer camp guys. We were given a box to operate in that was roughly 4 times the size of this building. So we had to put 4 paramotors, 2 pylons, and fly in formation in, I think it's 600 by 400 by 200 feet high. And we did it. And it was really fun. And the kids loved it. It was so much fun. So we've done a lot of stuff like that. We'd love to do more. You probably saw the Mardi Gras video this last week. To me, whether it's for the community or for young kids who are involved in aviation already, they all get inspired. Even if they have no idea what you're doing, and kids are like, how do I do that? Is it a jetpack? It doesn't matter. It's a great, great thing. Silver Badger asks, upcoming air show schedule for 2019. Oh, and Brian, thank you for doing that. It's super cool, and reach out to more EAA chapters. And we're working on a whole new program called the Ambassador Program where we're going to encourage people to do things just like that, and we're going to help you organize it. We're going to give you all the materials so you don't have to go in there empty-handed, whether it's through STEM training or it's through, which we do at schools with Paradigm right now, or it's through just going to Rotary and talking about what you love. It's a huge benefit, and it's something that's really important to us. So we're working on that, and it should be announced in July.
Fun fact, Brian Pearson, he's a drone guy. I actually know him.
Really?
He
works for Warren Buffett.
Brian Pearson?
Yeah.
Warren Buffett.
Yeah, Brian Pearson works for Warren Buffett.
Really?
Yeah.
So he trained at Midwest PPG, which is an alliance school.
Yeah.
And he just posted a pretty cool video about going and doing an SIV.
Yes.
It kind of reopened my eyes to low flying.
And locking yourself in a round spiral into the water? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he sent me that one. He's like, you could share this with your students. And I was like, well, if your cameraman didn't track off as he crashed into the water. We call him Stall Boy, by the way.
Okay.
He was flying my motor, the Tornado, and he was used to his Scout. And we're in Nebraska, and he's climbing and climbing and climbing, and the wing just starts to fall back.
Oh, jeez.
And he goes parachute stall twice. And he doesn't have a radio. He doesn't have a phone, or he wasn't connected to his phone. So I'm texting him. I'm like, you're having parachute stalls. And he's like, I know.
When he got the...
After he landed. Silver Badger asked about upcoming air show schedule. We have 2 more shows this year. Again, Paradigm is without a sponsor, and these shows are enormously expensive to produce, to bring upwards of 25 to 30 people. This year at Son of Fun, we had 27 people on each day that we had a show that were helping support it. So we had a massive amount of help, which is necessary, but it's very expensive. And so we're doing Oshkosh and Balloon Fest at Lycoming County Fairgrounds in September. So Oshkosh Air Venture and Lycoming County Fairgrounds. Next up, Shelly Farmer. Hello to one of my favorite students ever as well. Shelly's incredible. Her boyfriend learned to fly, and then she was watching on the sidelines, and eventually she's like, screw it, I'm doing this. And she rocked it.
Nice.
She's still rocking
Probably
it.
better than him.
She just got a Maverick 80, actually. She had a 130 air conception. She just got a Mav. And she,
Nice.
actually, Shelly, how are you liking your Mav? Skylar C22, is it possible to kite in a large covered pole barn or to create an artificial wind source for the raining Pacific Northwest? All right, so two things. One, I have a video that I'm going to ask John and needed help me remember to post. I have it saved from my friend Alex Mateos, who's one of the original members of the Paradigm team. Alex is kiting inside a stadium, hand kiting, no wind, no fans, does a 360 running around. It's like, that's why I love Ozone. Like, the lightweight fabric is just, it's magic. It's absolutely magic. Let's see. Can we scroll up just for a second? Real quick. Let's see. Ed McLeod, good to see you. Mike Cotter, always a pleasure. Rick, PPG Gorilla, always great. And yes, Bailey, I am going to butcher your last name. All right, let's see. Kevin, can you discuss if a newbie should buy an A-wing or can start on a reflex like an Ozone Spider and grow into reflex safely? Thanks, love your show. Thank you for loving our show. This is a giant freaking test, and this is now 6 episodes into the test, and we hope that it's good. So Brian Pearson asks, our Alliance members don't offer towing. All of our Alliance members offer towing now. Every single one of them. It's one of the requirements we have to be an Alliance member. You have to offer towing. Kevin, to answer your question about A-wing versus reflex, the challenging answer is this. If you go to a good school, they're going to offer you a safe wing to operate on. You're going to start off on a safe wing like the Mojo. You guys both flew the Mojo your first flights, and then you moved into your Spider. How many flights did you have when you flew your Spider?
That wasn't a whole lot.
Lean in, I can't hear you.
I think I advanced pretty quickly to my Spider.
Probably 10 or 15.
Yeah, but I probably had a good 10 solid flights.
Right.
Where we were going pretty much over everything.
One of the things that's really important, the misnomer that you have to understand, is that a reflex wing is not a reflex wing unless you trim it out. Okay, so a Spider is certified as a B-rated glider. It's a very low B glider when it's trimmed in. Actually, the Spider is not, the Roadster is. They're the same wing, one with lightweight fabric. Just to make sure I don't get in trouble from the truth police. So the Spider in trimmed in mode, even out to the white line, is certified. When you release the trims to reflex, it does become more dynamic if you have a collapse. However, it's less prone to a collapse because it has more pressure. And one of the things I like about Ozone wings versus other wings, and again, this is not dogging anyone, we've talked about this in previous sessions, is that they really focus on safety first. So on some wings you trim out, and let's say you hit, they have a trim range that says 6 to 15. As soon as you get to 6 millimeters or centimeters, you can't pull main brakes without it making that wing completely collapse, right? So I prefer the Ozone stuff because you can fly trimmed out, no problem.
You don't have to worry about having a brain fart.
Exactly, and I've done it. It's happened to me. When I flew those other gliders back in the day, I have had that brain fart where all of a sudden I have my wing's gone because I trimmed all the way out and I'm flying along for an hour, and suddenly I hit turbulence or whatever, and I just grab 4 or 5 inches of brake, and suddenly I'm fighting a collapse instead of not being an issue. Yeah. When you have your speed tied to your speed bar instead of being tied to your trim range, it forces your brain to think about movement actions. So yes, it's painful to hold a speed bar for 3 hours. Ask me how No, it really is, but it makes it much safer because you can dump that speed immediately and get back into your brakes. Let's see here. There's one. How close can you fly to a mountain in order to feel turbulence? Roberto, it really depends on how windy it is. It's a amplified effect. I think Ron Tran could probably explain this better than I can, but when you put an object, you have to think of the object almost like you're dropping a rock in a stream, right? You're going to have burble in front of the rock, and you're going to have much more burble behind the rock. We call it burble, we call it turbulence, we call it any number of different things. Just think of it like a rock in a stream. If there's a very slow stream, say it's a stream moving at 3 miles an hour, it's going to be a very small amount of burble. If it's a stream moving at 30 miles an hour, now that burble's going to go way downstream, right? Did you feel any tonight?
Felt a little turbulence.
It was a little windy.
But it's actually nice.
How about you, AJ? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised at how far the rotor goes behind the object, and then also how far above. Even if it's just crazy, even a small tree, how much rotor is generated above the tree when you fly around it.
Yes.
And I followed you the other day. I knew there was rotor down there, and I get down there. Of course, you were on a 14-meter free.
It was
free ride.
16.
I know, I'm just playing around. But
big boy size.
You went in there and flying, was doing wing overs back and forth into the trees. So I'm going to follow him in there. Of course, I'm hitting your prop blast and rotor from the trees, and I'm like, what the hell?
Well, and that's interesting. In the Mardi Gras video, it was blowing pretty strong from the west, and we're on the west side shore, the shore bank. And Travis was flying with me with Ross, and they kind of stayed off the shore, and I went inside the burble where it was completely calm. Now, entering and exiting, and it was like, but it really is something that your instructor should cover with you based upon your current location. And it's something that you'll learn over time, and that's why we choose, particularly for our students like Jonathan, we're going to choose times of day and conditions that are completely safe. We're never going to give you that opportunity to make a mistake until after you leave training when you already have the experience to get there.
And the diagrams and everything in the training is just really phenomenal, and visualizing what's happening and understanding the weather. And it's been said almost every class that I've been to, and from every single person, is like, after being here, how can you imagine doing this
on your
own, or even through somewhere else where you know that they don't offer some of the services and the classes that you guys do with the ground school?
Do we make PowerPoint fun?
Yeah, right.
Good job, Chris.
Yeah, good job, Chris.
All right, couple more questions. I'm going to answer 4 of them on this page. Stan Johnson, how much difference between the Roadster 2 and the 3? I detailed this some in our video reviewing the Roadster 3. That video came out, I believe, in summer of 2018. You can find it on our website and on our youtube.com/aviator, which is where you're watching this right now. Just search Aviator Roadster 3. The Roadster 3 is a massive difference from the Roadster 2. It's incredible, the difference. They basically took the easy launching characteristics of the Spider, where the wing feels effortless. This Roadster 2 had a lag point where you get about 2/3 of the way up, and you'd have to push again before it would come up, or just stay there. If you dropped the A's early, it would just sit there and never come all the way up, which was a major challenge for some pilots. They also made it more fun. They increased the trim range, I believe. The speed is significantly more. So you have a lot more speed, a lot more energy. And the last thing that I really liked they did is they made the turning effortless. Have you flown the Roadster yet?
No, I haven't. I want to.
Have you flown the Spider 3?
I've kited it pretty extensively.
Okay. It turns much better. And I know that Ron could talk about this also, but it turns so much better. It feels like you're on rails. It feels more like you're flying a higher rated glider, and it still is a B-wing. Line of sight, are we accepting crypto? No, right now we're not. We're not able. I'm sorry. We can, I suppose, if John Hancock wants to take it. He says he'll take your crypto and give me cold hard cash. I have some Dash, some ADA, and some other crap that's not worth anything anymore.
Ouch.
Mage Alextra says, does financing cover training? Initially, no. So one of the reasons we haven't done that is simply because we don't want to finance someone into a bad position. Technically, it could. For instance, if you wanted to go and use your credit card to cover your training, you can do that. But it's important to us that we really want you guys to not get into the sport if it's not something you're fiscally capable of doing. So if you're not capable of covering your training costs, we don't want to finance for you just because we don't want to be responsible with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who get overexcited and finance stuff they shouldn't. I know I have a friend who bought a really nice $40,000 entertainment system at Best Buy, and he makes about $40,000 a year. And it's going to be costing him about $173,000 after all the finance fees. And I was like, dude, you're going to be paying this thing off until that thing's as dilapidated as one of those giant deep TVs that, you know. So, Tony Marzano, how much trouble do you get into flying in the wrong airspace? It really depends on your personality. If you are gracious and kind and apologetic, there's something you can file called a NASA report. I've done it. I filed a NASA report when I was flying across the country in an airplane. I don't know that I flew into the airspace, but I was within 100 yards of it, and my alert went off, and I didn't realize I was flying into control airspace, so I filed a NASA report letting them know that I realized what I'd done wrong and learned from it, and nothing happened. However, I have seen fines as high as $10,000. I've seen people's equipment being ripped away. So, not ripped away, what's the right word? Confiscated. So it's a big deal. It's not something you want to do. It really is a big deal. Javi, welcome to the stream, my friend. Always great to have you. If I do trike, Gorilla, I think has the best looking one. I disagree. I like Gorilla's trike, but I've got a couple of trikes that I think are way sexier. And trikes are doing very well. When we brought in the Fly Products line, it was largely because we felt like trikes had been made uncool for a really long time. And the issue there is that a lot of people who want to get started in the sport don't, because physically they don't have the ability. And now we're able to do that really well.
I'm wanting one of those flashes really bad. After looking at your dad's,
yeah, you should fly it.
Yeah, I do want to. Play
Let's
with
get you
one.
on the Vertigo tomorrow, and then let's let you fly the Flash.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'd love to try it because I love the idea of just still being able to convert my motor over to that frame, and then in the future put a tandem seat in there when I have a certification. And
yeah,
it's.
Well, you can't tandem on the Foxy yet.
No, I don't want the Foxy. I want the Flash.
Oh, you want the Flash?
Yeah, I want the Flash.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I think the Foxy is incredibly well made. It's incredibly well made, and you're using the your same hang points, and it's what, 19 pounds.
19.8 pounds the small wheels. The big wheels add a couple more pounds.
And it's extremely well made. I got to see it firsthand here.
Yeah, I'm pushing them to do two things. One, I want a tandem Foxy someday. They asked me how many I could sell, and I said maybe 6 in 5 years. But I want it for acro, because if you could using the soft links, it brings the brake pulleys closer to you. So like on a free ride 23, I could take my wife and do sats and do barrel rolls and really terrify her, and it'd be really fun. Yeah. But I could also teach guys like you who are starting to push on your skills a little bit to go up and be able to teach you exactly how to time that wing over, and you could feel it through the harness instead of being tied to a bar.
That would be awesome.
I love the idea. It's just not worth making a completely new design to sell 6 of them. So if we get like 100 new tandem pilots who want to buy them, let me know. How does one progress from beginner to more advanced maneuvers safely? From Ryan Dinan, or Dinan. Ryan, this is actually a good question for AJ. How are you progressing from beginner maneuvers into more aggressive maneuvers? How was the radio work, the personal effort, etc.? And I'm going to let you slide in.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't gone crazy yet, but a lot of
Thank
what
God.
Yeah.
If you ask your wife.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of why I wanted to be here as well. Like, I want to help give back, first of all, and help learn how to help other people get this, because this is an amazing sport.
Can you explain why you're here?
Yeah, I'm here as an intern instructor. I'm here to learn how to train other people, and it's been amazing seeing these guys over here, like, help them, give them pointers and advice, and them all of a sudden click and get it and really learn. It's just as fun as my first time learning. It's great to see other people get it. But another reason why I like being here is because I'm around people like Eric, who I can trust with questions of, hey, Eric, how do I not die when I'm trying to learn this wing over? You know? Yeah, but I'm taking criticism and advice from everywhere I can get it. So, like, Chris Senecroce posted some videos here recently that's really good.
Stuff. Anything Chris puts out, like, I huge shout out to Chris. You'll probably never see this, but I look to him as my mentor for a really long time. He really is an exceptional human as far as his instructing in particular.
Yeah, it was good. It covered a lot of good basis in there. And hi, Adam. I see you. What's up, man? He was in my class.
Nice, Adam.
So yeah, I mean, I don't really know how to answer that question other than I'm just trying to be very slow and not become complacent, because I can understand how, like they say, the 3 hours, 30 hours, 300 hours are the dangerous times. I feel like all hours are dangerous for me right now.
Which is an important place to be. You know, so for those of you guys who don't know, AJ's alter ego is Ockbots. He was a professional drone racer on ESPN, and as your skill level increased flying quads, I can imagine that you probably all of a sudden started crashing at certain points because your confidence was much higher.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
It hurts more doing this.
Yeah, that was part of it. You know, I raced motocross for a long time, and that kind of was what got me into drones, because I could get the same kind of sensation and feeling, but you know what? I can just walk over and pick it up and then replace it with another one and not have to go to hospital to get surgery. So
that's a good thing. You've had a lot of surgeries.
Yeah, I've only actually had one surgery, but I have been injured quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Emilio, I don't know the exact speed difference. I will have to go up and test it. That information is available on Ozone's website. If you go to flyozone.com, you can find out all the information on speed ranges, etc. Brian, I'm sorry if I got the wrong guy. My apologies. Jonathan Doe asked, how many students in the 160 to 180 pound range purchase a Moster as their first motor? That's a difficult question to answer, because 6 months ago, I would have told you that almost all of them. Now, a larger majority are like your 195 are buying the Atom, and it's two different reasons. One, particularly if you have a easily offset motor like a Parajet Maverick, where you can swap the offset points just with a wrench. You can switch from an Atom to a Roadster for the cost of upgrading your motor. So you can do your first 200 hours on a Atom and get confident and really dial it all in on something that's super smooth, super quiet, really light.
I just flew the Atom.
You
I
did.
just flew the Atom, and I am shocked with the amount of power this small, lightweight 80cc motor
We had a guy
develops.
40 pounds heavier than you flying it.
It's just unbelievable. So I am about 195 pounds, and I am, because of my back, I am super weight conscious. I love it.
You're going for the Eclipse?
Yeah, right. He needs to
I
get
don't.
that.
I think I'm going to go with the Maverick.
Are you?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, either one's an awesome choice. We'll let you fly the Eclipse in the next couple of days and see which
Awesome.
one you like better.
Awesome.
That's one thing I like about the way our school is now. Instead of having just one brand, you're going to be able to try
Yeah.
an Atom on the Mav, an Atom on the Eclipse, an Atom on the Fly, an Atom or the Rider, a Roadster on the everything. You can try everything and then
It's
make
amazing.
a really educated decision.
It's
'Cause that's
amazing. Yeah.
really like when I started Aviator, the challenge was that most schools you went to, they're like, okay, buy your paramotor, pay for your training, and then as soon as they get you out the door, I had 2 flights, and they're like, have a great life, and that was same for Travis, same for a lot of people. They got 1 or 2 flights. We got your money, have fun, and that was never the goal here. We wanted people to have the opportunity, instead of making a marketing-based decision, to have an experience-based decision. And that's why we generally encourage people not to buy equipment before they come, particularly because now we're stocking so much of it. I mean, the room behind me is full of
I
boxes.
saw it today.
So
Yeah,
it's
it's amazing.
that's the goal. All right, if you had a piece of property with 80-foot oak trees on each side with 200 feet of open space, 800 feet long, would you feel comfortable launching and landing from that property? I would. 100%. Would I allow a student to do it? Not a chance in heck. I'd say once you get a couple hundred flights in your belt and you really know exactly what you're doing, exactly what the conditions feel like, etc., then we talk about it. Just because you don't want to be doing something that's pushing you in the wrong way, that's making you have a no-out situation. If I have 80 feet wide, I can take off and I can make 180 returns multiple times in that space to climb out and get above it.
I also saw that today.
Yeah, you did. I got to play this morning. It was so fun. Kyle Van Balderen says, can you recommend a good beginner wing for a 300-pound guy? I'm starting my training soon. I do have canopy experience as an ex-skydiver with over 500 jumps. Well, congratulations on your skydive experience. It will help you somewhat. It will also hinder you because you want to be more stabby than you need to be with your hands. So remember, massage it, be smooth. I explained it to you earlier. It's the idea of like squeezing an orange or like trying to cut off the flow of water on a hose. You want squeeze, not pull. So that's a big deal. As far as your weight goes for the right wing for you, drop us an email. It really is going to depend a lot on who you're training with, what kind of equipment you're training on. I would generally recommend at 300 pounds, something like the new, actually released today. They have a Magmax 38, Magmax 2 38, which is a brand new tandem wing, or the Wisp 38. That's what we ended up selling to our mountain at 380. He bought a Wisp and he loves it. The Wisp is a super lightweight fabric tandem wing designed for bivouac flying, so it's designed to hike and fly for tandems. But yeah, there's lots of different options out there. Mike Thacker, I would say most 185 on either the Fly Products or the Parajet. Really depends on you and how tall you are. If you're tall enough, you won't have issues with it being squeezing you. If you're a shorter guy at 230, it'll feel a little bit snug. Bob Garber, will we ever see Paradigm in New England? Guys, we had 27 shows ask us to perform this year, and we're doing 3 because we can't afford it without a sponsor. If you want to see Paradigm fly in your hometown, please help us find a sponsor. There's a great video on our YouTube channel. If you search Paradigm looking for sponsors, you'll find some great information. It explains what the benefits are for a sponsor and why we want to do this so much. So, yeah. Bob also said he's talked to Johnson Q for training last spring. Bob, I can't tell you, you can't go wrong with Johnson. Johnson's an amazing dude, and I'm going to bring another guy on the show here in just a minute who's going to talk more about Johnson and the entire experience. How are we on battery life right now, John? 1 more minute. So here's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to take a 5-minute break. We're going to bring David Nickerson, one of our alums who's here with us hanging out, and we're going to let him talk about some of his experience. We'll probably bring Caleb in as well. Caleb had his first flight last night, and he's up to how many now? 8 flights since last night. So crushing it, guys. Enjoy. Have a nice break, and I'm going to go get some coffee. Salud.
Okay. Break over. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. Eric needs a break sometimes. He goes the whole day without using the restroom. All right, let's see what we got for questions. See if I can take some of these. Oh no! Can you scroll down? On it's the silver laptop over there. Hold on, Paul Burns. I hope you're still here because I'm going to answer your question like I'm Eric. I'm planning on starting my lesson next year. How does he look at this screen with these lights in his face? I'm planning on starting my lesson next year. What is the best time of year to come down to Florida? Oh, I can answer this one. So we are... Summer starts at about late February here. And it runs until late January. So it's not so bad because we do most of our training. Anything that's outdoors is basically happening sunrise and sunset.
But it's really hot in April, May, June, July, and August, September, and October.
and November, December too, during the midday. But if you're out there in shorts and a t-shirt, it's not a problem. Most of the midday sweltering heat stuff, you're in the classroom. And do we have air conditioning?
We have really good air conditioning.
We have air conditioning.
Yes, we absolutely do.
So.
And it's crucial. I'm thank you for restarting. I apologize. I was still getting coffee.
And I told everybody you were going potty.
I haven't done that yet. That may be second.
Do you want to run and do that while?
No, we're good. We're
okay.
We're gonna power through this. But I'm gonna bring David Nickerson in to sit behind you. Caleb had to leave to fix his car because apparently that's the thing you do. I'm gonna close this door. Can we scroll to the bottom? I want to scroll to the bottom of the questions. I just want to jump through.
I'm going to sign off.
Or no, what are the newest ones are? Here we go. The newest ones. I want you guys' feedback. We have 127 people watching right now. How are you liking the live stream so far? How do you feel about it? Is it looking good, sounding good? Is the content interesting? Please tell us more. We may have to refresh this because I think that, we're 6 minutes past and it's not refreshed. Let's refresh the page. Let's see. All right, we'll get this refreshed. And before we do that, Dave, would Welcome to the Ask Aviator stream.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Getting parafamous.
You are getting parafamous, and it's interesting because Dave initially said, absolutely not. You're not doing this. Because you're the guy behind the camera.
That's what I do.
What do you do for a living?
I do live event support, so sound, light, and video for concerts, corporate, theatrical work. So we bring out all the tech equipment to make events happen.
So how do you feel about the high-quality 5-light system with 2 microphones that we're somehow pulling off?
I think John's a rock star.
John
and what
is a rock
John
star.
Hancock is making happen here is phenomenal. It's
So you're going to give us a shopping list. Can I have 3 shopping lists? Like one's like someday when your Joe Rogan podcast, someday in 5 years after you sell your house, and then like the reality one?
yeah.
So
yeah.
we can have like 6 mics and like 3 cameras and yeah?
Yeah, we'll make it work. Yeah.
All right. So Brian says there's sometimes issues with mic distance, but this guy's an expert, so you won't have issues with that. Craig Taylor says to contact Johnson Q. Yes, Chris, contact Johnson. Johnson's great people. He does a great job. Parker, good to see you, my friend. I'm sorry I haven't said hi to you yet. And Kurt Ammons, why aren't you here in this chair? You should be here getting interviewed right now. You don't leave till Saturday. Dadgummit, man. We lost an opportunity there for sure.
Who's Class Q? Where's Class Q? Who's that?
It's Johnson.
Oh, man.
Johnson Q. So, okay, let's talk about how you got here. So what month did you train?
I trained in December.
In December. So you trained with, who else was here in that class?
I had
Ed.
Ed McLeod
Yep.
was my wingman.
Who's our number 1 fanboy by his own admission now.
Oh, gotcha.
Badoom, take the chair. We
Yeah.
we are working on lav mics for the guests. That is something that's coming, or just more of these and more education before we, like tonight, I talked to Dave about coming, and he was like, maybe. And then Jonathan flew, and he landed, and he was like, oh, my God, I flew, and it was like I was flying, and it was amazing. And I was like, dude, you've got to come on the
South
podcast.
South African.
I
It's
have
a little
terrible
different.
South African accent. I can't do South African or Australian or Kiwi.
It's more
Yeah,
exactly.
Sorry, Ernie. But
Yeah, so I had
December.
Yep, Ed McLeod. I had Lance Schlussler. Yes.
Schussler.
We had Mike Sazaks. We had Chase Goddard and
Yeah.
Nick Kinnon. Yeah.
I haven't heard from Chase.
Chase is flying.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay, I see him on Facebook occasionally, but I haven't
Yeah.
heard from him. And
Yeah.
he lives near you, right?
He's in Connecticut.
Okay.
It's a tough area. He's close to New York, so it's a tough stretch, but he's connected with some people. He's
Where do you live?
I'm just outside Boston.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you are. All right, so let's back this up. So you do all sorts of cool production stuff. You came to learn to fly here in early December, and I remember the intro class because it's my favorite part of the entire week. Aside from first flight night or morning, that first 2 hours of seeing who people are before they start and then watching them change over the next week.
Sure.
It's like it's the one thing that's my favorite. You were like, I don't know who I'm going to fly with, and we found you 2 in that room.
Yeah.
And then what happened? And that's really what I want to bring you on is what happened when you got home. How did it feel? What changed?
Well, I connected with Aviator because my buddy Phil heard that I was interested after seeing a Tucker video. I said, geez, I really want to learn to do this. The place I want to go, there's a waiting list forever. My buddy Phil said, my friend Buzz, I think, does that crazy butt
Buzz
fan
is
thing.
amazing.
So yeah,
Another one of our
Buzz,
past students.
Yeah, Buzz Burrows flies a butt fan, and it turns out he connects me with Buzz, and Buzz got word that there was a late cancellation through the alumni group. And he reached out to me, connected me with Mary. There was one opportunity way back with an alliance partner, and I said, no, I really want to go to Lake Wales. And
Don't say that. We want people to go to the alliance partners. They're awesome people.
it's fantastic, but yeah, it was. I wanted to be in Florida,
Right.
and it was where I wanted to be. It felt right, and I got here, and it was fantastic. Had a great crew in house. I got here a day and a half early.
Don't do that, by the way. It will make the rest of the staff crazy.
So Mary was happy to have an extra set of hands working here.
Well, you worked. That was the
I-
nice thing. A lot of times people will show up and they feel uncomfortable, and I don't fault them for it. So they'll just kind of sit there, and we're like, we really want to serve you, but you know, when we're not training, we're catching up from training.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
You busted butt, man.
So it was great. Yeah, you connected me with Johnson while I was here. You mentioned him. When I got back to Boston through Buzz, I ended up connecting with Johnson. We flew. We were to fly. I had one of the airbox issues with the Roadster.
Yes, you did.
And that was at the end of my break-in cycle.
That was the first one we'd seen.
Yeah.
I was like, oh crap.
Yeah. It was, but you guys handled it really well. And Johnson, I was supposed to fly with the next day.
And he let you borrow his motor?
He hooked me up with the prop. And my head wasn't in the right place because I convinced myself I was never going to fly. But
Come on.
It was the next day. I was still shaken up seeing my prop explode.
Right.
But connected with him, and he finished the break-in of my motor in the air, which was fantastic.
Good
I
dude.
met some other guys. There's a bunch of great Brazilian guys with the background in Preflight up
cool.
there. We're flying. I left Florida in mid-December. I got to Boston, and my motor came in early January, and we're flying in snow. It's snow. We're wearing. This is coming back to Florida this week. I'm wearing something other than ski pants for the first time since I left Florida to fly. So it's been a treat. But yeah, through Johnson, I connected with some other guys and Buzz, and then we started a little local Facebook group focused on Boston area crew. Sort of harvested members from the Aviator alumni group, from the Paramotor group online, and then the Jeff Goin's USPPA directory.
Right.
We reached out and sort of trying to expand a network up there of people who fly, and so we can fly together and find areas that work well for everybody, and it's been working really well.
And that's one of the things that's great about this is when you fly, it's not just about you. It's about connecting with other people because shared passions are everything. One of the things I loved the most, right after you got home, I get this text from Johnson. He's like, all right, David Nickerson, tell me about him. And I was like, who? No, but he said, is he an okay guy? I was like, yeah, he's an Aviator alum. He's a really good guy. And Johnson, he's an Aviator alum? Okay, cool. And it was really neat. And then one of the things I really liked, the reason that I thought about having you on the podcast in the first place was that I watched you post on Facebook, first in the alum group, because we have our own private alum group, and then globally, like, hey guys, flying to Florida to go back to Aviator, then I'm driving home. Who wants to fly between here and Massachusetts? What was the response like?
Woody didn't reach out.
Come on, Woody.
Tucker didn't reach out.
Well, we can talk to Tucker. He's a little antisocial. He doesn't like the camera either.
Yeah. But, no, I'm thrilled to get to fly here for a few days. I'm supposed to be on vacation here with my girlfriend, who bailed out on the week-long trip, which I was okay with because I get to fly here for a few days. And she gets a Grand Canyon
honey.
trip in its place. She's gone off to the Grand Canyon next week, so it's
very nice.
Yeah, she gets her nice escape.
Well, one thing that's going to come out of this is because you're here and because you're an alum, is that we're going to connect you with people your entire route, just as we normally would. So we'll find people for you to fly with, especially if it's flyable. So we'll look at the timeline. Although you just told me you're going to take this crate behind you to Montana.
Apparently, without insurance, I can't make the schlep. But that would
Your
have
insurance will cover it. You're good.
Yeah.
You're good. It's just like the most expensive 2-place 50 horsepower paramotor you can possibly imagine.
Pretty badass.
We've talked about the guy before, but this guy's literally going to go take it to go land and then go bow hunt for like a week and then kill a giant elk and carry it out. And like,
quarter it or half it.
I just want to see the rack mounted to the front of the trike. I want this thing to be like a snag hazard for days, where it needs to look like something off of like Christmas Vacation or something.
That.
Like
That's so Texas, like a big rack off the front of the tandem rig. Yes.
It's perfect. John Petterus says, I keep missing this. Is there any way to rewatch it? And Ernie DeVletter, who is South African, says that, hey, I don't sound like that. You're right. You sound so much more beautiful, and I'm sorry.
As for rewatching, yes, this will be online. You can find it. There's a podcast online. If you go to whatever podcast tool you use, it's up there. John has put it everywhere, Overcast, iTunes. If you enjoy this, if you don't enjoy this, please still go to iTunes and say that you enjoy it. Rate it. Yes, thank you. Yes.
And actually, with that said, guys, we're going to start doing a new segment. We're going to try to do this every hour. I'm way behind this hour. I apologize. But we have a ton of swag, from coffee cups like this one to metal thermoses and T-shirts, not like this one. This is a Flight Product shirt. It says Team Pilot. You might not be able to see it. But we don't have these. But we have lots of other T-shirts, of which you have some, and we want to give some away. So if you guys would like to take a moment really quickly to share this on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, however you want to share it, and then leave a comment down below that says shared. I will double check you. Actually, I'm not going to check. I'm not going to check. I trust these people.
Oh.
These are our people.
Generous.
So you guys leave a comment down below. I'm going to pick a couple at random. Actually, I'm going to have Nina pick a couple at random. We're going to give away some free stuff, and once we do, you're going to email info@aviatorppg.com, and we'll get stuff going. Oh, my Lord. My father just walked into the room. What's up, Dad, man? We got Alex too, and we got Scared Dogs. Let's scroll down and see if there's anything else new. I want to answer a little bit more thoroughly the question about kiting inside. It was possible. We will post the video of it. I actually did a lot of research into building a horizontal wind tunnel, very similar to how they build the iFly tunnels, the vertical tunnels.
Yeah.
The cost is terrifying. I looked into because basically you build a throat and you have an induction, so it's not blowing, it's sucking.
Okay.
And apparently that's better. That's what he said. But the key is that you take this. Well, I was talking to an engineer. That's what he said. I can't keep a straight face either. And basically, we take this. Whoa! Our application just failed. Exciting! I can't read any comments. Oh no! People better share. We're not going to be able to see the comments. We'll have to check on YouTube.
We're still streaming, aren't we?
We're still streaming.
Great.
Just the comment side didn't work. So we looked into the idea of it, and it would be really, really cool. And I thought, if you can get a steady 7 to 8 mile an hour breeze that's perfectly steady, perfectly laminar, I thought it'd be perfect. Imagine learning to kite in that. It's like one of those indoor ski slopes.
It's huge.
Well, you'd have to do about 160 feet wide by about 1,200 feet long. The shortest you could do is 800 feet. And then the electrical bill
You're insane.
was in the $25,000 a month range.
You're insane.
To use it 4 hours a day. And the build cost was around $4 million, not counting the building. That's just the induction fans and the tube, because it's a Venturi.
Yeah.
Right? But I thought it would be kind of fun.
Uh-huh. I think this is the way, with a little fan blowing on your face.
So that's actually something that we've talked a lot about, is creating a VR system to teach kiting. And we are going to be doing some VR stuff soon. That's something that's we're in the middle of testing and filming and pushing through.
Yeah.
So yeah. Ron Tran asked, David, the students and instructors want to know if you could buy Hershey Crunch ice cream snacks for the next couple of days.
Ron, if they sell it at the Save-A-Lot, I'll get some Hershey Crunch. But so far, everything I've found at the Save-A-Launch is slightly off-brand. It's
about as off-brand as it can get.
It's Mountain Holler Does or Mountain Holler Do or something. It's just a little off.
Just a little off.
Just a little
Just
off.
like their meat.
They sell Klondikes there? Oh. No, Ron, we'll have Klondike bars.
All right, we're going to go ahead and pull in our first winner from Nina. Do you have a winner for us? And you're going to tell me what they won, too, because I'm not going to decide this. That's too much power for me. She's looking. She's searching. Guys, thank you so much for being here with us. We are now an hour and a half into the stream. I know we started a little bit late, but we have the first one. It is Jonathan Doe. Jonathan, email info@aviatorppg.com with your address. And what did he win?
A t-shirt.
He won a T-shirt.
This
You need to send us an email with your shirt size and your location. We will get one mailed off to you this week, my friend.
These are some of the softest, most wonderful cotton. All cotton?
No, it's actually a tri-blend. So this is one of the only areas, I would say only areas, but my wife's probably watching and she would call me a liar. I'm very particular about my T-shirts.
Yeah.
So instead of buying the T-shirt that I can get for 70% less, all of our T-shirts are nice tri-blend shirts that are really comfortable.
Incredibly soft.
Yeah.
You need to see it on Mike Brown.
Oh my Lord!
This guy. You need to make a bigger shirt for Mike.
I think that God needs to make a bigger planet for Mike.
I've been working with Mike. I'm sorry, I don't know how much you got into with Jonathan and AJ.
We have intern instructors. They know that.
Gotcha.
Mike's one of them, who's been flying for 20 years. I've
just been working with him and Jeff, who decided he wanted to migrate from foot launch to trike track. And we're on day 4, and Mike and I have been with him. I've been chasing wings and helping wrangle. And Jeff is ready to fly tomorrow morning. Like he's
Really?
there. Like he's
Yes, that's amazing.
Sorry, I know this isn't the Aviator podcast, but
No, that's amazing,
this
though.
is,
I love it.
It's awesome. This is I came through a great cycle here, but this cycle you guys are running, I'm thrilled to be lending a hand with it because there's amazing stuff happening.
And it continues to grow, and we've seen the same trend since your class, since we brought Ron in to help with ground school, and now Chris. We've seen a huge trend shift. And we had great school before, and you can ask any of our past students, a lot of really happy customers, but what we've discovered is that it's hard to,
team
hard.
approach. This team
It's
approach.
more team
is-
approach, and I feel like people feel more included. I feel like people feel like they're more of a priority, and I think that was really crucial and something that was missing. And we've had a lot of staff changes, but we've really wanted to dial into creating the best possible. And we have a really great team now.
I mean, this cycle, you've got more sets of hands than students. And,
That is true.
Not counting me, it's pretty awesome. I'm psyched to be here,
I'm glad
with
you're
another crew. Like this is my vacation week, and there's nowhere I'd rather be for it. It's
something important for everybody to realize. Whether you train with us or one of our alliance partners, you're part of the Aviator family, and you don't have to come back to intern. You can just come back to hang out and fly and help out, and we love it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's literally part of what makes me coming into work at 6:20 this morning worth getting up in the morning for. It's 7 years of this, and it used to be really, really hard.
Yeah.
It used to be really, really miserable and really exhausting. And the more good people like you and like the 500, 600, 700 other people that are come through our system, it just makes it worthwhile, and it makes my heart happy.
wow.
Makes my wife accept me better because I'm not so grumpy.
Oh, man, you make me think I need a new career. Cause
Well, if you're looking, we're hiring instructors. It's not going to be. I mean, dude, our cost of living is really cheap down here.
my girlfriend and I have a 5-year plan to retire to Maine, cut down lots of trees so we have LZs, and then we'll consider this for the off season.
I like it. All right, I'm going to bring Dad. I'm going to have you slide over here next to Dave.
Eric, Parker, awesome, won an Eclipse, most 185.
Parker Awesome apparently has won an Eclipse Moster 185. The ticket price, however, was $8,500. John says he won a photograph, Parker. All right, let's see. Brian Pearson says, Facebook posted this question. Do you do anything special to assist launching at high altitudes? We do. Obviously, we can't train for high altitudes here because we're not at a high altitude. However, we do help you learn the processes necessary in low wind. We will help select a motor that's a little bit larger size, and we'll help you select the right wing for your proper weight at that altitude. Have I ever flown in Maine? I have not. I am up to, I think, 14 or 17 states and 7 or 8 countries, and I'm working on the rest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is David in Maine? Because
If David's in Maine,
I need to connect with him because we have a house in Maine now, and I'm eager to fly in Maine.
if you guys can't hear Dave, you guys have to talk. Dave Chass is on Facebook right now.
That's
Look,
chassis.
Chassé.
En français.
Hello, François. You just have to. All right, point it up.
Gotcha.
Point it
Side
up,
address.
up.
Side address.
All right, so
Hello.
David, this is David Nickerson. He's on Facebook. He likes Aviator, and you'll probably find some mutual friends if you already have Paramotor friends. Connect with him, or is there a group they can find you at?
It's Boston Paramotor Pilots on Facebook.
Boston
Face
group. Boston
Yes.
Paramotor
Face
Pilots
match.
on Facebook.
Yes.
I want to answer more questions, but I need to take a moment because a lot of different people in life have interesting relationships with their parents.
Mm-hmm.
From an early age, I recognized the fact that my father would think that I was a pain in the butt. However, he's the one man that I've always looked up to, the one man that I always had tried to become like. And 5 years ago, I got to share flight with him. And this is my dad.
Having never flown anything before,
I was the pilot.
there's only one thing worse than having a 29-year-old son who thinks he knows everything. It's having one that does. And I got to fly for the first time in my life, and I fly now every flyable day for the last 5 years, and I wouldn't change a minute of it. Thank you again
It's
for
been
training
my
me.
honor. It's
What
funny.
a blast.
We've had a lot of change in our life in the last year, and we talked about some of it in the last podcast. We lost his son, my brother, in June. How old are you now?
I will be 72 in 3 weeks.
And as an entrepreneur yourself, which inspired me, which is why we're all here, the reality is, as an entrepreneur, we don't. Oftentimes, if things don't go perfectly, you don't have a retirement plan, you don't have everything else going, and we had a lot of conversations about the fact that you never have to worry about mom because you left a legacy, not a trust fund.
Right.
You left a family of children. You have 4 children left here that are with your wife, and you have 2 previous children who are incredible as well, who have learned from you what it means to serve, what it means to inspire, what it means to truly live.
Follow your passion.
To follow your passion. And that encouragement for me as a young man is something I try to give my sons every night. When I pray with them every night, it's very similar to your prayer. I've added a few things. Says it always ends with, and may you be wise in all things.
Wise in all things.
And kind and loving to others. Because I'm not so sure about them sometimes.
You know what siblings do? Yes.
I do.
Especially sitting in an 8-foot wide by 40-foot long motorhome for 6 months of the year.
So we're going to have to tell a really long story on this because people don't know this. We're not going to do it on this stream, but we'll do a video, you and I.
Cool.
So the background is this. My dad sold Amway. And he sold cell phones before there were cell towers. For $5,000?
Oh, $2,500. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
They went into the trunk of their car and they had to drive it an hour and a half to see if they worked. Yes.
Not a very good salesman at all.
No, it was a great salesman. We fed you.
He fed us. He was pulled by my mother into this business selling books.
Yes.
And for 23 years,
no,
22?
20 years approximately, but 18 years that we traveled. Yeah.
18 years we traveled. So I was 3 when you started the business with Mom, and they started with a tomato box full of books.
Right.
And it was to sell to homeschoolers. My mom grew up in a business as well. Her parents were entrepreneurs. They had a restaurant and a country inn, and my mom, instead of buying books at retail, she got a business license and would buy them for 40% off.
Right.
And then she went to her first homeschool conference.
Right.
When homeschooling was illegal.
Yep.
Illegal, like not okay.
Right.
And she started selling the books, and she sold all the books, and she came back that weekend, and she had an empty box. And you're like, you have an empty box. That box was $200. And she had $300, and it was great. And something like 20,000 titles of books and 20-plus employees and 20 years in business and 18 years of traveling 6 months a year with 5 children in a bus. It started as a trans van with 2 kids.
Right.
And then a Pace Arrow. No, Southwind.
Pace
Then
Arrow.
Pace Arrow. Then Bluebird. Then MCI.
MCI, Charlie Daniels tour bus.
This is actually Charlie Daniels Band's tour bus. The one on the cover of the Million Mile Tour. I grew up in that. And I'm not sure if I'm proud of it or not.
Oh, yeah. You could still hear the music and smell the beer. It was a wonderful coach.
That was the smell?
That was the smell.
I thought it was me.
No, it was the stale beer from Charlie Daniels.
So there's a million stories, and there's literally this. We could spend 5-6 hours.
Yep.
But what I want to share is I want to introduce you to the people because you haven't been on camera.
And tell them what I'm doing here. It's
we'll
so
get
exciting.
To your marketing thing. The salesman's already coming out.
It's so good. What am I looking at?
So
Question. What age weight do guys really start recommending trikes? I really don't want to trike, but I'm not getting any younger or smaller. Laugh out loud.
Do you think he actually laughed out loud, or do you think it was more like a subtle sigh that felt laughable?
Well, he said LOL, and that was the only initial words I knew about.
I feel like it's like not really
I just
laugh
learned how
out
to do
loud.
email. I
It's
don't know
more
what
like,
this whole thing is
it's more
about.
Like, ha. That's not really like a laugh.
No.
It's
That's
like a
kinda
guffaw out loud.
Okay. Well, it was giggle. I recommend people to start seriously thinking about trikes when you imagine putting somewhere between 40 and 60 pounds on your back on a windless day, and you're going to have to run at 7 miles an hour for about 50 yards before the wing is inflated and you have foot launched. If you can't do that, in my case, I had an artificial knee installed and said, it's the first time in 45 years I'm pain-free, but I can't run. And my son said, Dad, why don't you try the trike? And that has been a lifesaver for me and for others. I mean, it is a real deal. So if you can't physically manage that kind of exertion, then the trike is for you.
Well, and it's more than
what
that.
I love about that is that you can be flying the rest of your life.
Yeah.
The rest of your life, without having to be exerting anything more than your throttle.
And mentally, it's hard. It mentally, like when we first started triking you, and I'll tell a story about tonight. We have a student tonight who's perfectly capable, just like Jonathan, who you guys met earlier. And Jonathan did a great job. He happens to be about 20 years younger and about 30 or 40 pounds lighter. And the student tonight inflated the wing, taxied for about 70, 80 yards. Really nice taxi, well controlled. A little over controlled. Inputs were big, which is normal for a first taxi. No big deal. A little slow to come in the throttle. He got things in control, but then he was too tired to keep moving forward. And then I hear Ron on the radio. Stop, stop, stop. Kill switch, kill switch. Kill the motor, kill the motor, kill the for 30 seconds. And it's not about his physical stamina. It's because his body is so tired from 4 days of intensive training that the mental ability to shut down took over 30 seconds, which is a long time. It can be expensive.
Yeah, very expensive.
Right?
Yeah.
And he handled it perfectly. Like there was no issue. Nothing was broken. But
yes.
it could have been bad,
Yeah.
right? So to me, and that guy really wants to foot launch. He's so passionate. He's like, as long as my landing gear works, I'm going to foot launch. And we're working with him. We're doing our very best to help him. But I want him to trike first. I want him to trike for 20 flights. You've triked for about 250 flights, maybe 500 flights, and then you foot launched.
Yes, once.
And the second time you kind of foot launched, you got in the air for a second.
For a second, yeah. It was not a pleasant landing. No, that's part of the reason. With 2 artificial knees, I don't want to foot launch only to find myself landing in a wind condition and find that I'm on crutches the rest of my life. I like the idea I can sit in a comfortable chair and have wheels take me into the sky. I mean, it's just perfect. And I know the foot launchers, the longer you fly, the more you want to get more aerobatic. I do too, and I do.
Oh,
And
you
with
were
the new,
ripping around.
This new Foxy trike we've got.
Did you fly it?
Well, no, I had my first successful practice launch tonight.
We're going to tell the story behind that as well.
Yeah. We got a new wing. I did find the Spider 326.
The wing that does not exist yet?
And it says demo.
Demo, secret, do not
Secret,
share, don't
share
take
on the-
pictures.
So I laid it on the ground, and it was flying before I could even hook it to the trike.
This
It
is the
literally
problem.
picked up, and I said, now what do? I had to run across the field and catch this wing. The fabric was so light and so aerodynamic, it was all I could do. And Alex came over and helped me, and he said, drop a line. I said, no, I'm going to drop dead before I lose this wing. So
This wing doesn't exist yet. You're not.
I'm not supposed to be talking about it. Okay, anyway.
It's okay. We've mentioned it.
Oh, never mind.
It comes out in July.
I really didn't do anything tonight. I sat on my trike and watched the wind blow until I finally said, "Oh, it stopped for 2 miles an hour. Let's go." And then it came right back up again, and I didn't want to turtle, so I said,
No.
"We put it away." Tomorrow morning, however, it's butter. And
Oh,
so
I'm excited
we're
for
all-
you.
Yeah, it's my staff won't let me come to my office if I haven't flown. They say I get mean, and I need an altitude adjustment. And,
This is true.
And it becomes a part of your way of life. I love this. I love the sport. I love the way of life. I can get up early in the morning, be out flying for a few hours, go to the office. Everybody's happy. I'm happy. And then I look forward to going back in the late afternoon and fly again. It's just, you've spoiled me.
Did you get to
I
watch the Mardi Gras video?
No, I haven't.
John asked me to do a voiceover for it, and the whole concept was that people, when they consider paramotoring, the initial concept is that it's a selfish thing. But what I've realized personally, and I've seen in you, and you're the case study for me, because I've looked up to you for so long, and I've tried to emulate your life. What I've seen is that as an entrepreneur and as a father of 5, really a father of 7.
Yeah. Count 'em. Yeah.
And then a billion grandchildren. What I've seen is that I've seen your personality shift so much through flight.
Yes.
That when I talk to people about the fact that we think it changes lives, it's
It
you
really
I'm talking
does.
about.
It
I'm
really
talking
does.
about a man who, quite frankly, was angry and
That's right.
overwhelmed a lot of the time,
Yeah.
and has shifted to being a peacemaker and a love giver.
Oh, I love it.
Not that
Yeah.
you never gave us love. I was always very loved as a child, but who you became after flying changed my life. It changed my perspective of what it meant to be a father, and I think it's so crucial. And like I realize this is personal stuff, guys, but this is what we do. This is
That's
how our
why
family
we are a
works.
community. We call ourselves a family of flyers, and
Yeah.
so we're sharing some stuff with you. That it's awkward.
It doesn't have to be awkward, but
It's all right. I'm good. I'm good with that. I'm
But
good with awkward.
It is good, and I think that's part of why Aviators become successful is because we care
Yeah.
about the details beyond just this happened. It's something that's huge. So I'm gonna come back because we're gonna have to do a full podcast that we're probably gonna cry through.
Don't fail to mention what I'm doing here.
We'll get there.
Oh, okay.
No trust. Really
you have-
quick, I got to give a T-shirt away. Ripman Ryden, you just want a T-shirt, email info@aviatorppg.com. Feel free, if you haven't yet, share this out. I have been told by Nina, who is in charge of my life, that you won. So you want a T-shirt, please share it, and email us info@aviatorppg with
questions.
your size and address. We'll get that shipped out to you tomorrow or on Thursday. So I want to
Greg
tell a
Taylor,
story with
Bob.
you, Dad.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people saying hi to you.
Hi,
first
hi,
off.
Greg Taylor.
One of the things I love is that, by the way, Craig Taylor just bought a house in Winter Haven.
Get out.
He closes May 11th.
Very cool.
I think that's about the 20th or so family that's moved to the area.
It'll get to you.
It's amazing.
Didn't you love John's description of summer, though? I mean, that was perfect.
He's such a salesman.
We were all up there at this classroom. All the students were watching this on the big screen, and I said, "That's perfect." You were in the bathroom, I think, at the time. Anyhow, we had. I want to compliment you, John. You did a great job on that. All right, what is your dad's favorite PPG gear?
You've flown
Just
a lot.
curious. I have flown the rodeo. I have flown the air
So
conception.
Nirvana Rodeo,
Yep.
Air Conception 200,
And I'm now using the 185
Moster
Moster
on
and
the Flash Cruiser
Well, on two things.
and the Foxy.
I'm on the tandem, which is what I'm doing here. The tandem.
We're going to get there.
And the Foxy, and it is a sweet piece of equipment.
What do you think about vibration compared to your previous motors?
Frankly, I haven't yet gotten into the air with the Foxy because I just got it today and had a successful practice launch. But that's a nice way of saying I blew it. There wasn't any vibration. It was just too windy anyways. But I'll let you know as soon as I get into the air. Right now, the tandem has no vibrations at all. And we go in heavier wind than I've ever flown on any other
You flew
machine.
in some spicy stuff
And
this
it's
morning. Really well.
really nice to fly in it because it's so forgiving.
I was so proud. Like, honestly, watching you fly back in, you flew your fifth tandem in 12 hours.
Yep.
Or 16 hours, and it was really impressive. Like, really impressive.
It was a workout. It was great fun, though.
Yeah.
The highlight is finding a pilot that has numerous, like we had a retired Air Force pilot from Sun and Fun that came out and did a tandem with me, and he was giggling the entire time. And when it was over, he said he's never had a life experience as good as this powered paragliding tandem. Frankly, I was in awe. I said, "You've flown jets?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, I've got 1,000 hours." And he names all these aircraft, but he said this was the highlight of
Really?
his flying career, and I've got it on video.
I'm going to take that video to
testimony.
all my friends, the Blue Angels, and tell them they suck.
Oh,
Is
that
okay?
no, that's a different ball of wax altogether. Good guys.
Oh, man. One circuit says this guy's a riot. He needs to do a short
Tina,
segment on each
that's my
show
wife
just to talk
talking.
about what he's been up to. My mother, Tina, is in the chat.
Hi,
Mama
sweetie.
Zan. And my wife was in the chat a moment ago. Hello, beautiful. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time. I know that it's bedtime, and I'm sorry that I'm not there. We have a ton of other stuff going on here. But I want to talk about your practice launch story because it's inspirational.
Okay,
we'll
thank
get
you.
there in a second.
Okay.
I have to answer kind of the question really quick. Skylar C22 says, Eric, would it be reasonable to have a remote kill switch for instructors, or does that take away too much away from developing a full pilot in control?
Good question.
I have a lot of feelings on this. I've considered it for 7 years and hundreds of students. Even 3 years ago, I would say that a remote kill switch was a great idea. 2 years ago, except for the liability of it. Because say you're the instructor and you hit a kill switch and it hurts the student because they accidentally hit the kill switch. That would be a bad thing, right? What we've discovered, and it's changed over the last few years as we've become more and more successful with implementing a better structured training program, is we don't have the issues that require it. There are times, like tonight, where it took him a while to do so, but it wasn't dangerous, so the instructor never amplified his voice. The instructor never snapped at him, and we practiced that. If you guys come through an Aviator training, and David could talk about this earlier, and so did Jonathan, we do things in modules so that you are trained on what will happen if things are wrong.
Right.
You know, we will go from being really chill and happy to being, oh my God! You know, it's gonna be really snappy. It's gonna break you out. It's called a pattern interrupt. It's used in hypnosis. It's used in NLP. It's a concept that's built on this idea of having a pattern that's very clean, clear, concise, gracious, calm, collected, and then boom.
Yep.
And what you do is it snaps people out of whatever their mental loop is, and it's something that I've spent my whole life learning. I mean, since I was 15 years old, you took me to my first seminar teaching psychology and marketing, and it's really built who I am as a person, and we've used that with all of our instructors as well to be able to build the same program and process that allows us to keep people safe, and it's really critical.
I know that fixation can be a real nasty grabber.
It can.
If you're not, and we tend to do that. We think, so far so good. We're the optimists. So far so good. So far, and you should be thinking, no, it's not good. Let me kill the switch and redo.
It's better to stop and recover. So I don't see any more major questions. Craig Taylor wants to know if the Eclipse from Flight Products comes with eye protection. I will be happy to build you a little Eclipse box. No problem. We got your back. Roberto, good to have you here as well. Starfighter, nice to see you. Dina, thank you for sharing. Guys, I'm going to give away a mug next. If anyone wants not just one, but 2 mugs, so you can have a pair, please share this video on your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc., and we'll give you a free mug. Leave I shared below, and Nina will pick someone from the group that has shared. Let's talk really quick. It's late. I need to go home. I have to be in Tampa at 7 a.m. tomorrow.
You're going to miss the best day of flying of the week.
I know I'm going to miss the best day of flying of the week.
It's all right.
But I flew this morning when it was only blowing 15.
And it was
so
wonderful.
let's talk about your process from your first 2 flights to your next flight, because it's not.
That's all right.
I want you to talk about, the emotional challenge that you overcame, the encouragement that you can expect as a student here, because it's the same encouragement that every student here gets, because this is way harder than it looks, and the payoff that it's brought you, and I want you to culminate with what you're doing now.
Okay.
So you have 7 minutes. Go.
Okay. My first launch was on day 5 of the training. Now, I was trained also with a 14-year-old, and he flew on day 3. I hate him. I was day 5, and
he's 19 now, and he hasn't flown since.
Well, that's a sad.
It is sad. It makes me very sad. Jordan's a good kid.
It was a different season of training 5 years ago than it is now.
It's changed a whole lot.
Very much changed.
Travis helped a lot. Ryan helped a lot. Chris,
Tremendous
Eric, everyone
input
helped
from
so much.
all the team to make this work. However, on day 5, I flew, and literally it was 5 minutes after I was off the ground before I could exhale again. I was in such shock that I was in the air. And you directed me out over a lake, and I'm thinking, if this engine quits, I'm not going to drown. And I'm thinking all these thoughts, and then I'm hearing your voice in my ear saying, now prepare to land. I said, I just got here.
22 minutes later.
Yeah, okay. So now
that's the one thing, is time does stop when you fly.
It's amazing.
It really does. I took Catherine for a flight in the airplane yesterday, and same thing I did with you. We may have played a little bit, and she had 10 minutes And we went 14. As I'm coming back into land, she's like, it's been like a minute. It's like,
Yeah.
it's been 14.
Yeah. At any rate, we landed, and then, as I recall, and you can correct me, it was a while before I got my next flight. That means I had numerous successful practice launches.
Do you want me to jump in real quick?
Go ahead.
Okay, so there's so much more to this story.
We're doing the abbreviation. You only gave me 7 minutes, not an hour and a half.
So,
Wait a minute. Young guys will
young
learn
guys
faster
bounce
than old
better.
guys.
I
Whoever
like
that
the young
is.
guys bounce
Rip
faster.
them.
I was born at a place called the Chalet Suzanne. I was born in my parents' bedroom.
Yep.
And it's approximately 120 yards from a runway that my grandfather built after he left World War II. He was an instructor pilot in the Air Force after World War II at Bartow Air Base, just west of here. And he loved aviation. He was a fighter pilot. He lived for it. All of his friends were astronauts, and my mother actually worked in the Apollo, not the Apollo, in the
NASA.
What was the project? The Mir. In Mir.
Russian thing.
The one where the walls were edible. My mom helped make them edible.
Yeah,
really
something
cool.
like that. Anyway,
I should remember this. I feel bad. Sorry,
they
Mom.
provided soup.
And so our family was heavily involved in the whole space stuff in the restaurant business, and I was deeply involved in aviation. So when Dad learned to fly, it was before we were able to move here to this airport where we are now, where we have so much more space and it's much easier. So we were on a fabulous 200-foot wide, 2,300-foot long runway, bordered by buildings,
Trees.
and 60-foot trees on both sides.
Right.
So if the wind wasn't perfectly north-south, and the wind came up 15 degrees offset, like we're talking here, if the wind comes up 90 degrees offset,
Got plenty of room to
you
correct.
turn right 90 degrees
right.
and you take off and go.
Right.
I saw you do that several times this morning where you had big offsets, 40, 50-degree offsets. When Dad learned, we were jumping location to location. We were trying to find the right place. We're trying to find places to be able to train people properly. And it was so stressful. I remember when we got our facility on the airport, I cried because my stress level dropped so much to know where we would train every day, because we would drive with 7 cars in tow, 3 pickup trucks,
To an old
4
citrus
instructors.
grove.
Yeah, we're going to a citrus grove. We're going to a development park. We're trying to find the right place as we're trying to develop this. And it was a big fight. You know, it was a fixed base operator who had complete control of the airport for 27 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they ran every other business off the airport, and now we're friends, which is ironic. But it was a big challenge. And so Dad had to go from learning on a small field surrounded by light poles that a local sheriff's deputy owned that was willing to let us operate there until his neighbors complained, to this narrow freaking runway
Yeah.
that's never into the wind.
Right.
And it was probably 100 practice launches.
I want to say it was 50. You
So
tend
let's
to
call it
exaggerate.
200.
All right, 200 practice launches.
But it was around a month.
Well, exactly. And then we went off on vacation for a month.
Right.
And so when I got back, I hadn't flown and had only all these successful practice launches that I was looking back at. And we started laying out wings again. And you and James were just so faithful. And after about a half a dozen, I would say, enough for me, go work on someone else. And after about 50 successful practice launches, I said, I can't do this. This is not for me.
Yeah.
I am just wasting your time. And I decided I was just going to have to back off. And you said, Dad, you've got this.
Yeah.
You've got this. And had he not said that to me, I would have quit. And it wasn't but a few more practice launches before I was in the air. And now it went from 2 flights in 2 months, that 3 months later I was to 15 flights. Ooh. But then within 6 months of that,
You were at 500.
I had 500.
Yeah.
It was flying 4 and 5 times a day.
at least.
And it was just, I couldn't get enough. Everything came together, and it does for 99.9% of your students. Something clicks. Everything works properly.
Well, I think
And
that
it's
a
worth
big
it.
part of what we do, and I talked about this earlier in the podcast, and I'll talk about it again, is that I truly believe, my heart of hearts, I believe that when you fly, because of the fact that you're overcoming so much personal challenge, whether it's shame for feeling like you're using someone's time, frustration for feeling like you can't do what you know how to do it, but you can't do it, whether it's just misery and pain with foot launch students and with
That's right.
trike launch students. There's pain that can be involved. You know, for me, when I fly, I go from a 7 or a 6 on the pain scale to a 9 to launch, and it's traumatizing. But I think that because we overcome so much, and because we push ourselves to grow beyond ourselves, to do something superhuman, it's literally a nearly spiritual experience.
Yes, it is for me.
And
Absolutely.
it is.
Just
And I want to tell
in the air.
one of my favorite things that you said. I remember this clear as day. You and I and James went for a flight, and it was one of our first flights together, all of us. You got up, James and I breathed a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
And we jumped up with you. We were down at Crooked Lake, out of the orange field and Orange Grove, and we got up in the air and we flew around this gorgeous sunset. And we came back, and James and I were playing all around you, and we wingtip bumped you, and it was one of the first times we ever got to fly together, all three of us. James is my younger brother, by the way. And we landed. And you landed last because I talked you down. And I'll never forget, you landed, and I said, what a beautiful sunset. Wasn't it amazing to watch the sunset? And he comes back to me and says, we didn't watch the sunset.
We were in the sunset. It's a whole different paradigm. Watching it from the ground is one thing, but being in it is awesome. It doesn't get any better.
I will forever miss being in the sunset with you and James
Well,
and Joseph.
Yep. Tender moments, bud.
But it's the best thing ever.
Yeah, it was.
And sorry for getting emotional, but
It's all right.
those are the happiest memories I have as our family, is sharing that and sharing the air
Well,
and
then let
realizing.
me then
So
share-
now give your pitch.
Now
damn
let me
it.
now about tandems. We'll talk about tandems, in a minute. But let me give you where I call it crossing the threshold, when I knew that this was for me. It was on my 5th flight, and you asked, it's time to do a cross country, and you said fly up to 500 feet and wait for us. So I flew up to 500 feet.
By the way, the picture in the background of the thumbnail of this video is from that flight.
Oh, okay.
Over the clouds?
All right.
Yes.
I'm up to 500 feet, and I'm looking down, and I see you take off with James, and you flew at 12 feet, and you started zigging and zagging among these trees, and I'm at 500 feet watching you have fun, and I'm just saying, well, what's this all about? And then they went past this lake, and at that moment there were a bunch of cattle egrets that flew up behind you and formed a V over the lake. And I said, I can do this. And I dropped down and got behind that flock of birds and flew with them. And I went, oh my gosh, I get it. I'm in. That was the moment. I was absolutely sold out.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And the thing is,
And now I see it every day.
yeah. and
Doing my tandems every day. We at Aviator PPG.
well, not Aviator PPG.
Well,
Pure
Aviator
Flight
PPG
Aviation.
signed a contract with a wonderful company called PureFlightAviation.com, which should be up by tomorrow, we hope, on the website. This wonderful individual called Dad will take you up on your first flight on a tandem. And we roll into the sky. We don't run into the sky. And I promise you it will be life-changing.
Tell me the story.
Yes.
Or tell them the story of taking Nathan Warner's dad
Oh, that was awesome. This man was 71 years of age. It was his birthday. And this pilot,
He trained at Paracosta.
he trained down in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Okay. And his dad used to love to fly, but hadn't flown in many years. So his son bought a tandem. And the two of us, the dad and I, and his son, went out and we played together.
For an hour.
Oh,
He
for
bought two
an hour.
tandems.
It was marvelous. And the dad, again, between giggling and tearfully yelling at his son and waving and having the best time ever, it was without a doubt the best birthday present I think he's ever gotten.
Website's live right now.
Websites live.
Yay.
PureFlightAviation.com.
This man can sell
Pure
cell phones
Flight.
without having cell towers.
Aviation.com. PureFlightAviation.com. Fill
So-
out the form. Sign up for a tandem. Woo! I'm excited.
So Dad is has done a lot of businesses. You've done a
Yep.
lot of things. Lifetime Books and Gifts was your longest term.
Yep.
It's kind of like my Aviator. But when he learned to fly and fell in love with it and flew every day and was able to enjoy it personally, he came to me and said, I want to do tandems. And to be frank, I am extraordinarily cautious about getting any instructor rating, any tandem rating. I'm the worst person possible. If you're a paramotor pilot, you want to learn to teach or you want to learn to do tandems, I'm the worst person in the world to do it with because I'm extraordinarily hard on people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm extremely about student safety, and like there's a lot of guys who do clinics.
They'll
that
throw you
in
out there.
3 days, 5 days.
Yeah.
You have your tandem rating.
Yeah.
With us, it's like Fletch doesn't even have his paperwork in for his tandem or for his instructor rating yet, and he's 7 months into his internship.
Mm-hmm.
I want people to be better than me before I give them a rating.
Well, I was impressed you allowed me to give you a ride in the tandem.
It didn't terrify me.
And you said I was the second person ever to do that for you.
It's true, you were.
That was a lot of trust. I thought this was the greatest opportunity to get even for all the wonderful things you did to me as you grew up through your teen years. I could do some real nice wingovers or something special.
Well, you have not gone with me for a tandem since I got my new tandem wing.
Ooh.
It's a free ride 23.
Oh, no. We're not riding on a 23.
Oh,
Not
we
even
might.
Maybe.
So Dad does tandems. He does introductory flights. He uses a Flight Products flash cruiser with a 140-centimeter prop on a Moster. It is rocking our fuel injection, which has been very reliable and really great.
nice work.
So your new trike doesn't have fuel injections.
Nope.
That'll be a new experience. Somebody earlier said something about kumbaya and stuff, and I just want to be really clear that the emotions are due to the fact that we lost my brother James, and he's one of the best pilots and best instructors we know. So that's why there's a little emotional high there. So please understand that it's not just for the kumbayas. It's because there's a lot of stuff going on. What's that? He passed away in a car accident in June, so it's been almost a year.
Yeah.
But we get to hang out with his son, who just turned 1, which has been awesome.
Yes.
He was out
I
here.
was babysitting all day today.
He came out yesterday and sat in my airplane, and
Very
he
cool.
saw the moon, and he freaked out. He's like, "Moon!" It was so
He
cool.
learned to say the word rock today.
Really?
Rock. I'm going, oh,
Was
this
it like
is so
rock
cool.
on, like his
Yeah,
dad would?
he didn't do this, but he said rock on. Yeah.
So
Very cool.
Dad flies. Someone asked what trike he flies. He's flying the Flash Cruiser Fly Products.
Right.
And I agree, Dad Farewell rocks. He is
thank you.
without a question my hero. He's the man that I've always looked up to, and I'll make him cry if I keep talking about it. But
Cut it out. Cut it out.
Let's
talk business.
It's what I look for.
Tandems.
Sandy and Paul says, thank you for training my instructor, Eric. Ernie DeVletter says, my wife is all over that the next time we are down. Can't think of a more perfect person to introduce her to my joy.
Thank you.
That's where it's at. Ernie, I can't wait for you guys to fly together because flying together is everything.
It's the best.
I got to take my wife for a tandem at Oshkosh last year.
I got to tell you, my wife, I took her up on a tandem.
I know, and I wasn't here, and I'm still mad about it.
She
really
was
salty.
so excited. She said, I could tell those were cow bones. I said, yeah?
They smell like cow bones.
I said, honey, we could go down low enough you could count them. But it was just wonderful. She gets it too. She just loves the fact that we can fly together. Yeah.
It's a very special thing. So, guys, it's been a very long show. We're going to have Dad back on for a full episode the next few weeks.
That'll be fun.
You're going up to Dog Island soon.
Soon, yes.
So, Dog Island's a special little place that my grandparents, his father-in-law, mother-in-law, bought a house in 1965.
67.
67.
Yep, close,
It's an island that's 8 miles long. At its widest point, it's how wide?
Maybe a quarter-mile wide.
I think it's about a mile wide at the widest point, isn't it?
I don't know. No,
And the narrowest point is about 1.5 yards wide now after the hurricanes. Yeah.
But we essentially have about 15 miles of beaches, and nobody's there.
It's
And
special,
wonderful.
and there's a nice runway, and I am planning to fly my wife up very soon for a special little date night, and
Lovely.
It's in the Panhandle of Florida. So Dad and my mom spend a lot of time up there.
Yes.
It's their retreat. It's a special place that we never really spent much time at, and I've been really thankful. One of the things that I look to. Again, this is getting sappy, so
Oh, no, don't
over
get
it.
sappy.
But I think that what we look for in our mentors and the people who inspire us is people who live life the way it should be lived.
Yeah.
And Dad's 71, Mom's 66, and you guys are finally at the point in your life where you're realizing that the time together and the time away matters.
It really does.
And
it makes it stronger for all of us. Yeah.
because of the way that I was raised with a family business where it was 100 hours a week every week.
Oh, that was just the work hours. Yes.
Yes, and then the family hours.
As entrepreneurs, you get to choose whatever 18-hour shift you want to work. And
If you're lucky.
A day.
Usually 22. But it's been really inspiring for me as your son to look at how you and Mom are living now, where Mom is spending a lot of time with grandkids and you're spending a lot of time not just mentoring people, but inspiring the entire community. If you ran for mayor, you'd win.
Oh, that's an interesting
Don't
thought.
do it.
Don't, no. Okay.
Is
Tandems.
where
I am.
We're keeping him out of politics with tandems. But
Tandem
it's-
question. Oh,
Here you go. Jason
if
Gee.
I'm tandem rated, can I fly my 5-year-old son? I don't know how to answer that. I have seen others that were tandem rated, and they flew their 8-year-old daughter.
So legally, the reality is this. Our tandem exemption allows us to fly tandems as long as they are for training purposes.
Training purposes.
So if you're
correct.
teaching your 5-year-old, legally, you can fly them.
Okay.
I want to be very clear on this, and this ties back into what I talked about earlier about how careful I am about being very stringent with the tandem ratings and with instructor ratings. I have been flying Paramotors for 7 years. My first year I flew over 500 hours, 536 to be precise. I have flown up until about 3 years ago when Aviator really got busy. I flew every morning, every evening. I did everything possible. I love to fly. I flew my wife in August of this year, or July of this year last year for the very first time. I've not flown my children yet. They've flown with me in airplanes, which I have less time. I have 1,500 hours of fixed wing time. And I'm extraordinarily cautious, and I want to encourage anyone who's watching this to recognize how incredibly powerful life is and how dangerous it would be for you to hurt someone you love.
Yeah.
So if your goal is to fly someone because it's someone you love, find someone better than you. Just
There
take
you
them
go.
flying.
That would be a good plan.
And it's solely because of the fact that it's just not worth it. Even if, now, when you get to the point where you are at that precipice, like Dad had thousands of flights
Yes.
and been flying every day and flew more than I did for several years. And even then, I was very hard on you, and I made you fly with lots of other pilots, and I critiqued, you don't know this, I sat down with every one of them after every flight and asked them about everything you did right and wrong, about judgment calls. And every time you come out to fly, we talk about your judgment calls.
Yep.
Because
Absolutely.
it's that important.
We want to tweak it.
We
all
want to
the
do
time.
the best thing we can possibly do. So I'm going to answer like 7 or 8 more questions really fast, as I can. Someone asked how many people were coming to, or who was coming to Bad Apples. Chris Garrison, our head of school, will be at Bad Apples for sure. We should start powered hang gliding next. Actually, if you want to do powered hang gliding, Partha, good to see you, brother. I would love to help you at Aviator, but I want to encourage you to go see my friends at Revo at Z Hills. Larry and Amy are incredible people. I cannot recommend them enough. They'll take care of you. Gorilla, great to have you here. Phil Badurka just got his helmet. It's been too windy. Looking forward to it now. Dude, get your helmet paired with your phones. You can listen to music. That's what I did. Jason Gee didn't miss. He missed the questions. Answer. The replay will be up in about 30 minutes. You'll find that. Michael Whistler, I do not have the E30. I do have my 86, and it's turboed now, which makes it way more fun. Sam Pankratz. Sam, we have a golden boy here just like you. He's 40 pounds heavier, but he's amazing. We miss you, too. I would love to go to Jill Knoll. Let's see. Are there any other people in here?
Something. Sorry, buddy.
Tandem Bob. I'm looking. I don't see any more. Guys, thank you so much for watching the show. I'm losing my voice. Coffee cups went to who? To Bob Garber. Congratulations to the coffee cups.
Thank
and
you,
I'm going to
Bob.
give one more. Let me just scroll up for a second here and see who else earned a coffee cup or a T-shirt. I would let you guys decide who. Scroll more. Somebody who shared it twice. I saw them. I'm choosing it.
Somebody books a tandem, I will give them a cup of coffee.
It's going to be my coffee. That's the best part. Oh, my goodness. Guys, I want to thank you very much for watching. You can find out more about my dad on pureflightaviation.com. You can see more there, and we will do a full episode with us. If you guys want that, we'd love to share it. We're excited to have each of you all as a part of this Aviator family, and it means so much to each of us. We're going to go ahead and give the second winner to David Nichols. David, thank you so much for being a part of this. Michael Whistler, thank you for being here as well. Mike's been one of the biggest Aviator fans from the early days. One Circuit, you've also won something. So One Circuit, Mike Whistler, Dave, all of you guys have won something, and Lucy and Sims, you as well. So please send an email to info@aviatorppg.com. We love you guys. It's an honor to be here with you all. It's an honor to be able to share our love for this sport and our love for our family.
Come see us. Come.
Dad just wants to fly with you
I
all.
want to fly with you.
Mom, thanks for watching.
Let's share the air.
Nell, thank you for watching. And to each of you guys, have a blessed night, and we'll see you very soon.
See you next
I'll
time.
see you, Craig Taylor, May 11th. Cheers. Rihanna, please book a tandem. We'd love to come to Australia.
Yes. High five or high 4.5.
High 4.5.
Okay, there you go.